Testing. Am I live? I'm seeing that my mic is live, so hopefully that means I'm actually live. Testing. Oh, yep, there we are. Am I live? Woo! Oh my goodness. What in Offkai? What a fucking convention. What? Oh my god, what the fuck? No, stop it. I broke something. Shit. Okay. Oh, I messed something up already. Hold up. There we go. That should be fine. Now. Testing. Let me know if we are live. Let me know if I am live. Just want. Oh, what is going on? Okay. Jesus. Okay. Somehow I'm not prepared for this stream, and I wasn't really. I had issues yesterday. It was mostly just personal issues. It was mostly just I had a big headache. I've had a big headache because I hadn't been sleeping well. I was just physically exhausted. I just couldn't do it last night, and I really wanted to do it last night, but I just couldn't. I was too not there, too drunk, well, not even drunk. I wanted to get drunk is what I wanted to say. Like, it's just too, it's hard to really describe it other than I just wasn't in the right state of mind. So where do I want to start with this? Do I just want to start with the merch I picked up, or do I want to go through the timeline first? We'll see. Let me just make sure everything's started up. That seems to be fine. Sure. Alright. Well, I think I wanted just to describe my full vacation to begin with. So the first thing that happened was, as I had to get off work pretty early. So I work Wednesday through Sunday, and I'm a graveyard shift. That's why I stream so late at night, is because I'm graveyard. It's hard for me to stream. Well, for multiple reasons, it's hard for me to stream during the day. I just as I don't want to bother my family. I would prefer they don't interrupt me, especially because I wouldn't want them to expose information that I don't want them to expose. So doing it at night is the only logical time I can do it. But of course, I need to flip that for Offkai. If I'm up in the dead of night, but then asleep during the day, obviously I'm gonna miss a lot of Offkai. Last year I missed a lot of Offkai because I couldn't actually wake up in time. I didn't give myself enough time to be able to flip over my schedule, and so I would arrive at Offkai at 6 p.m. after everything had already happened. I didn't really get to enjoy anything. I didn't really get to buy anything, which in retrospect might have been a good thing. And I just really needed to, the only thing I managed to do, which was great, by the way, was Offkai Live, which is always the highlight of my year every year. It's such a massive concert for VTubers. It shows off even smaller VTubers, huge VTubers. There's always like a bunch of smaller VTubers who get their time in the sunlight, and then a big headliner. This year was Nerys, 2 years ago was Iron Mouse, last year it was Bao, and it was a Kiara, Takanashi Kiara. And so I really wanted to make sure I actually got up early this year, and it works out because my birthday was right before Offkai. So I had some delicious steaks. I had I made my family some IWCs, improved whiskey cocktails, using actually our house blend, our infinity bottle. So I'm gonna need to buy a lot more bourbon, or I'm probably just gonna end up biasing it towards my new bourbons, just to make sure that's topped up. And that whole time I'm just trying to flip over my schedule. I'm just like, day one, I take a nap directly after work at like 3 a.m. to try to wake up in the middle of the day, sometime around noon-ish, and then drink coffee so I stay up throughout the day. And it was difficult to even do that. So sporadically I'm just napping all the time this week, because as I'm just trying to get onto day shift schedule, but it's so hard for me. I end up staying up late for the first few days a bunch, like up till 3 a.m 5 a.m, but then after a while I do manage to get it turned over. I'm starting to get sleepy around 10 p.m. and I'm getting ready for the con. I'm prepared to get to the con. I even set up alarms because I wanted to get there before 11, so that there's no so I can secure parking. It turned out I didn't need to worry about that. Offkai is still a relatively small con. It's obviously growing very quickly, and it definitely felt packed. But also, we're not using all of the convention center space yet, because they don't need to. Fanime happened in the same venue, and it uses all of the rooms plus some of the hotel rooms as panel rooms. So it's a lot. It's still better. It still has room to grow for sure. It's still like half the size of Fanime, but it was still massive. Oh, weird. Let me just check something real fast. Make sure something real fast. Okay. Should I make myself a drink? I probably shouldn't. I didn't want to make anything that could potentially spill, and this can still spill, but at least like I can't drop things into this, because I kind of wanted to show off the merch haul I got, because I really forgot to do that. But also I kind of just wanted to show off pictures of the timeline. Yeah, let's get to the timeline. So first things first, and fair warning, there is going to be IRL posting. I covered my face as I kind of demanded from people, but yeah, I did post a lot of pictures, and just be aware that you'll see BBD a lot. So BBD is the cosplay account. Let's start that up. And yep, day 0. It's the first time I actually went out in drag. It was fun. It was scary, but it was fun. I went out like that. It's because of the fact that I saw that at Offkai day 0, you could pick up your badge right away. And then I wanted to get that early so I wouldn't have to deal with it later, and that turned out to be, that felt like a great opportunity to actually do something. that felt like a great opportunity to try something out, and it was kind of thrilling in a way that I didn't expect, but also like no one really cared, except also that was part of what made it kind of empowering, was that no one really cares. Fuck it. It's fine. Like maybe someone gives you a weird look, but that's it. And besides, it's a lot more normal at cosplay at a convention like this for people to be dressing a little bit deviantly. So that was a good experience for me. That was a good experience for me. In fact, so we have our lanyard over there. Let me switch back to the camera. I didn't get that many ribbons. I almost never do because I never really go deep into ribbons, but I actually kind of wanted to do more ribbons because I finally realized how fun it is to collect these ribbons. The dude who won the ribbon thing, like there's apparently a competition to see how many ribbons you can get, and whoever gets the most ribbons wins. Dude was carrying around a legit full-size flag that was just filled to the brim with ribbons. Like you roll it up and it's like a roll that's like that thick, then you unroll it and it's several feet long. Like it was like it had to be like 18 feet long and it was awesome to see. It was honestly super crazy. Oops. Let me just check on something again. There we go. Alright. Where was I? Yeah, so nothing really happened day 0 is the thing. So let's actually get back to the timeline. And maybe I'll do a mix. I'm not 100% sure yet. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Yeah. It's becoming a tradition to get a nice bottle of soju and reflect the night before Offkai. Yeah. This happened to me last year. As I took some time off and then I went to a nice, just little comfy Korean spot that I like. Got myself a bottle of soju and just reflected. Got really excited for the con. I didn't end up getting to do much that last con, but this con I was like, okay, I was more prepared. I got myself a nice yogurt soju this time. Just sitting back, reflecting, ready for the day ahead, having fun. And it was finally time. I wish I took more pictures. Right, here we go. So if you follow BBD cosplay, they do daily 5/7 cosplay. I decided to finally go out in my 5/7 cosplay, and let me tell you, that was a nightmare. It was a genuine nightmare, actually. It was so hard to actually go out in cosplay. Hello. Hey, GBD, what's up? I'm just going through the timeline right now and just telling stories about my my Offkai. What's up, Poke? Hey, how you doing? How you doing, you two? I lost my train of thought. I saw you were posting hella stuff for Offkai too, weren't you, Cheapity? That must have been fun. The next theme we're about to see is probably very relevant to your taste. We got the Clara cut out. She ended up retweeting that too. I wish I posted more. I need to remember to post more because I just didn't end up posting a lot for Offkai this year, and I really should have. Helping out Masaki Awakami on Picardo and setting up subscriptions and stuff. Oh, that's right. Oh, right. Pixel's sketch went down, right? So now you got a lot of Japanese artists are setting up there now. I mean, yeah, the language barrier can be difficult, but I'm sure it'll be fruitful. Okay, here we go. Yeah, so BBD cosplay, the site account I run for, or just mostly doing Hoxie cosplays, is I've been doing it for over 60 days straight. I think I actually forgot to do it last night, so I'm probably gonna post 2 images pretty soon. But yeah, I decided to go out in the Hoxley cosplay, and let me tell you, that was a nightmare. Actually, it's so the wig is I kind of talk with my hands, so let me just close this down. The wig itself is like a headpiece that's just kind of a bob cut. It's a really small thing, so it's like, okay, if this is my head, it just like covers the top of my head. That's ironically the first problem, because as I have long hair, and so that wig topper is much shorter than my actual hair, so I have to like roll up my hair into like this hair net to be able to then put on that piece, and then a ridiculously long ponytail, like one that goes all the way down to like the back of my knees, because 5'7", if you've ever seen 5'7" from GFL 1, in fact, I should probably bring up a picture. Let me try bringing up a picture of 5'7". 5'7" GFL. Okay, just give me a sec. How's the music, by the way? Is all the audio good right now while I'm saying this up? Okay, here we go. Here we go. So this is 5'7", and you can see she has a pretty long ponytail. So I had to carry that around. I'm wearing like a suit jacket because she has that suit jacket. She has a pretty breezy outfit in general. Other than that, though, like she has a ridiculously tight small mini skirt. She has the sleeveless top. That wasn't too bad, but then the jacket itself was ridiculously hot. The wig itself, one, was incredibly hot. Two, it kept slipping off because my hair's too big, and so it was really frustrating, like keeping it on and keeping it like attached to my head. It was so difficult to actually go around in cosplay. I'm actually, so one, it was awesome. It was very thrilling to be able to actually be able to cosplay. But two, boy, I need to be better prepared for it. Like I have so much respect for cosplayers now because of how difficult it was to walk around in cosplay all day. Hi, it's Ned. What's up? Nice to see you. Yeah, we're just talking about Offkai right now. First, we're going through the timeline, and then I'm going to go through all the merch that I bought and hopefully be able to tell stories about that too. But I'm just sending like a general storyline based on my timeline, which I really should have posted more on. I really should have made an Offkai thread and posted more on it, because I have a bunch of pictures I didn't even post with like a bunch of standees I saw, or like other stuff. I kind of just took a picture of the more important events, but even then I didn't really cover it that well, which is why I wanted to do this stream to properly cover it all the way. But yeah, it's been super fun. I wasn't at Offkai, but I decided to hunt through the tags and post relevant stuff. Yeah, that's what I meant. I did hear that you weren't there, but I did also hear that you were posting a lot about it, like you're finding stuff, posting it in the Phase Discord. Is that correct? Yeah. I mean, FaZe did a wonderful job again, and we'll talk about them in a bit. But FaZe did a wonderful job again hosting this event. It's very trendy to make fun of Fishman, but he knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. Black. There we go. Underneath the post, someone recognized the cosplay. Yay. So, two things. One, when I did go out, I was waiting in the FaZe line for a while, to my detriment, actually. So I went to the FaZe Connect line, and it was out the door. It was ridiculously long for the FaZe Connect merch line, and it was the whatchamacallit, it was happening during like Sleepy's panel. It was happening during the Bad Advice panel. It was happening during the FaZe concert panel. There was so much awesome shit happening that just we couldn't go to because the merch line. And it was sort of like, it was a kind of damned if I do, damned if I don't, because as I learned from previous Offkai that you can't wait till day 3 if you want specific kinds of merch. They will sell out. You can't even wait till day 2 some days, and that was a huge problem with like Mint Phantom merch, which I didn't end up getting much Mint merch, if any. I don't think I did. I was mostly there for Sleepy, but there was like so much of that was selling out. There's so much other FaZe merch that was selling out. All sorts of stuff was just selling out as early as day 1, and so it's it sucked because it's like, okay, if I go to the panel, I won't be able to buy anything, but if I don't buy anything, I'm not gonna have the opportunity to later. And thankfully, it does appear that at least the FaZe concert for their 4-year anniversary was live streamed, and so it's a video on like the FaZe Connect channel, so that's probably good enough. I can probably do that. I hope the Bad Advice is on there too, because I really wanted to do that one, but I just couldn't. There was a guy who I thought was an employee for a second. I realized it was Fishman himself, Sakana, and he whatchamacallit, he just gave everyone in the line stamps because he knew like that people were in this same conundrum of giving away like not being able to go to the concert because of this line, and so he just wanted to refund them in a way with the stamps, and you get like the opportunity for free merch with every stamp you get. I think it was. I forget how it works as I forgot my stamp book. But that was nice. I bought hella stuff, which we'll get to in a second. I got so much. I took a lot of pictures in and around the booth, and I even forgot to post some of those. So let's go to that real fast. And obviously, I mean, everyone saw these, but the standees, the like race queen standees. Let's see how this looks on stream. Well, first of all, it needs to load. Yeah, there we go. The race queen standees were fucking gorgeous, man. The art is really good. The characters are drawn super well, and then of course just the normal Sleepy. Kara ended up retweeting this. It was so cool seeing all these around, and obviously all the other VTubers, all the indies, all the smaller corporos had their own standees standing around. I really should have posted more of those. I really should have posted more of those because it's cool. It's so cool just us being surrounded by VTubers like this. So, oh yeah, so I forgot to. Someone recognized the cosplay. Yay! I was talking to someone. No, someone passed by and they dropped a bunch of their stuff, and so I helped them pick them up. And then they saw my name tag, no Natsu. They saw my name tag, no Natsu, Midnight Mixology, and he recognized it. He couldn't remember where. It's like, have we talked before? Have I seen you before? Or mixology. He didn't put. It didn't seem like he put the dots together, but it did feel like he recognized me. And then secondly, while I was in line wearing the Hoxie cosplay, someone did notice. It's like, hey, aren't you dressed as 5'7"? Can I take a picture? And it's like, yeah, hell yeah, buddy. And it was cool. It was awesome that there was someone who recognized it, especially because I know that it's a GFL character. It's not a VTuber cosplay, so it would have been harder for me to get recognized. But the fact that let alone that's GFL, like the non-mainstream GFL dolls, probably wouldn't get as much recognition as the normal GFL characters. Just in general, GFL characters not so much, let alone the non-mainstream ones. And so the fact that anyone recognized me at all was pretty fantastic. I took pictures with the sleepy standees. That I'm sure I mentioned it before, but I'm a big sleepy simp. The race queen one is so absolutely gorgeous, fantastic. And you saw the thumbnail. If you saw the thumbnail, well, this becomes relevant later. But I was so proud of this. It was super cool to see these around. It was super cool to be able to take pictures with it. You see all my shit there. Okay, I do think I need to just get on to the merch. So we'll probably just speed run through all of that stuff. But right, the Phase Discord, they had a convention channel that I didn't notice for the first couple of days. I saw a photo of some kind of VTuber standee kindergarten. Oh yeah, so the new atrium, which is not technically an atrium, it was just like a weird sort of hub area that kind of served the same purpose as the atrium. It was just a nice hangout spot where people put up their standees and put up their standees, hang out, play games, play like card games, chat, hang out, all that kind of stuff. Eat it pretty importantly. And they had a dedicated section which is next to the staircase, and it's this layered sort of stage area thing, and that's where people just put standees. And they called it the standee daycare because of the fact that it's obviously carrying around a standee is very, very cumbersome. So they wanted to make sure like people had a place to put them while they went about their business. And then it was cool just seeing all the standees going around, hanging out, and letting people see them. How was the artist alley? So the artist alley and the exhibition hall are the same thing, which is sort of why I say like Offkai is still tiny compared to other conventions. Like, it's definitely tiny compared to AX, but everything is. AX is the biggest convention in the Western Hemisphere. And a more direct comparison is Fanime. So Fanime, at the very least, I haven't gone there in years, but at the very least, I know with Fanime, they use the same place, San Jose Convention Center, and they use literally all of the buildings. They use that building to the side as the artist alley. They use where artist alley was in Offkai as... Okay, no, I'm getting it mixed up. So the side building was for like the market, both the regular sort of market and the and the yabai market. They used the place that was the artist alley as the general exhibition hall for the fanime, and then where the what's it called again? The where the industry hall was for Offkai is where the artist alley was, and so and they have a whole gaming space is in one of the other rooms that they didn't use for Offkai. So Offkai is still relatively tiny because it's still about like half to 2/3 the size of Fanime, which is saying something because Offkai is growing so fast that it's getting close to Fanime, but it's also like there's still a long way to go. So the expedition hall for Offkai is the same as the exhibit hall. So it wasn't just like figures and dockies and other general merch all throughout it. It was like half of an exhibit hall, half of a artist alley hall. It was good. It was honestly pretty awesome. And I spent a lot of money instantly. Captivate hoped some of his sneaky stuff would be there. I did see Captivate. I got to chat with him a little bit. It was awesome to see. I'll talk about that in a bit, but we're just going to rush through the timeline, given that it's pretty bare bones. So I changed out of it after day one. I just missed most of the events. I spent most of the day shopping. And so I really needed to drop off my stuff at home. I live close enough to the convention that... So I live far enough away from San Jose that... I can't just go there on a whim, but I also live close enough that if there's a major event, like say an anime convention I really like Offkai, it's worth driving to. Like I wouldn't need a hotel. It's worth driving to. It's not so long that it's inconvenient for for an important enough purpose. So I went home and I legit passed out. I really wanted to go to a certain party after day one of the con, and I did end up going, but late because of the fact that I passed out. Important context is that I had been so tired throughout this whole trip because, as I mentioned, I'm usually graveyard shift. I needed to flip over my schedule. I'm not used to being awake during the daytime. And I've been on my feet all day, carrying around a big ass cosplay, carrying around tons of merch that I buy, carrying around a heavy backpack, getting rapidly filled up with a bunch of shit I bought. Like, it was so tiring. It hurt my legs. I passed out at home for a little bit, and it's like, oh shit. And I thought about just like, you know what, I'll stay home, relax the rest of the night. But no, I really wanted to talk to people. I really wanted to hang out. I really wanted to just enjoy myself. So I did end up going to... what was the name of Pippa's fans again? The Capitalists? It's like Capitalist, but then sneak Pippa in there somehow. And that's one of my major purchases was the Shiroko plush. There's someone on Twitter named Shori. He's a Blue Archive Twitter, and he always posts "Never kill yourself" with a picture of some, honestly, usually cursed-looking food. This was a drink called the Vomit Drawer. Oh my gosh, the drink names at Offkai in general were so cursed, but especially at the Pippa party here. But this drink was actually so good, and I can't really explain... well, I can explain to you why, but you look at the ingredients list, it's like coffee liqueur, Faygo, Mountain Dew, and moonshine. It was a bizarre mix that I was almost certain was bad, but it actually tasted pretty good. And it's because, honestly, so, I mean... back this out here. So I've mentioned things like a walk flavors as like a walk. a different way to say that is also like a musical scale. You know, the do re mi fa sol la ti do, like all those different notes. There we go. All those different notes, right? The thing about this cocktail, which made it quite good, is in general, this is a good way to think about cocktails, is you would want to hit different notes so that you have the same chord. If you ever get something that hits the same note, they better pair well, because otherwise they clash. And that's when you get some pretty bad cocktails, when you have really clashing flavors. I mentioned this with the mid-century old-fashioned. I talked about how they trip over each other at the end, because the orange juice and the oak barrel of the whiskey hit the same step together, and then they clash. They're not very good together. Whereas like particularly good cocktails, they can hit the same note at the same time walking together, and if they're good together, it actually tastes really good. Whereas as to describe it more as notes, it would be like if two things hit the same note and they're like competing with each other, that's really bad. But if they work together, that's really good. That's hard to do, to make sure to do that. So another way to do that is to just make sure that you're just hitting all sorts of different notes on different parts of the scale. That in the same way as, oh, it's a different step along that process. And that's what the vomit drawer was. That the Faygo, the moonshine, the Faygo, the moonshine, the Mountain Dew, what was it? Faygo, moonshine, Mountain Dew, coffee, liqueur. Yeah. Those four things hit different notes. And so it's actually kind of good. It's kind of good. It's not like the best drink in the world for me, but it was actually like a well thought out cocktail, because it hits different notes at different times. Nothing clashes, and then so you get the individual components in a nice weird evolution. That was honestly kind of spectacular and shocking that one, a drink called Vomit Drawer would be good at all, and two, having looked at the ingredients list, that combination of ingredients would be good at all. It was great too. I got to connect with a bunch of FaZe fans there, because I'm not really a FaZe fan in that much. I in general, I just follow individual VTubers. When I was into HoloLive, I only really watched Kiara. I only watched like Polka at first, and then Kiara. I only ever watched like one VTuber at a time, and I'm not actually super into collabs, so like it's tricky for me to really devote myself to a company. Like with Niji, I follow Pomu, I follow Petra. I'll follow individuals or streamers. With indies, I follow Kiki. I followed Sleepy for a while she was indie. I followed I follow various. I only follow individual VTubers. I have no loyalty to any single company, and it was cool to learn more about these different FaZe talents from various fans. Obviously, most of them were Pippa fans, and but they were talking about like Rooney, like Edina, like various other talents within FaZe Connect, and so it was cool to get more integrated into that. It was cool to get more integrated to that, yeah. When I watch Holo Clips, Marine was my favorite, but I like Polka too. Yeah, Polka was the one I vibe with the most. I was mostly clip, when I first got into VTubers, I was mostly clip watching, and I quite like Korone because she played retro games such as Klonoa. Klonoa is my favorite old game ever, very, very nostalgic for me. So I watched that whole playthrough, and then obviously tons of clips out there, very fun. And just all sorts of the classic HoloLive and Niji Sanji clips were awesome. then when I really got into it, I was really into Anju from Niji. Anju, uh, shoot, I'm forgetting. There was like two Skibbe Club members. Two Skibbe Club members, and then Hololive Gen 5 came out, and Polka was definitely my favorite. I followed Polka for a good long while. When EN broke out, I followed the Kiara for a while. She honestly was the only one I was interested in. I didn't really vibe with the other four. I knew they were gonna be good streamers. Don't get me wrong. I just didn't. I couldn't vibe with them the way I could vibe with Kiara. So I really liked Kiara for a good while. Yeah, we're on a huge tangent, but yeah, that's sort of like the origins of mine, and the point being, like my loyalty is always to individual streamers. It's never to the company itself, because I would watch both sides of it. There's always some weird class war between like Hollow fans, FaZe fans, Niji fans, and V4 Mirai fans, etc. Just like all these different clans, and it's sort of like I just watch who I like. Like I genuinely don't even pay attention to the affiliation. Let's see. Let me get back to the thingy. That Pippa face is always hilarious to me. Oh, I should have done this before, but yeah, for the other 2 days. But yeah, first time going out in a cosplay, chatted with the fellow congoers while buying $2,000 worth of merch. Yeah. I mentioned I spent $3,000 on the con. That's the title of this video. How I spent $3,000 at a VTuber convention. 2,000 of that was on day one, and then 600 more was on at least 600 more. Yeah, probably more closer to 800 more on day 3. So it went crazy. It went crazy. That midnight meal. I was so hungry when I got home from the Pippa party. I literally took a can of Spam, sliced it up, put cheese, grilled it, put cheese on it, and then put some spicy beans on it. This was actually really good, surprisingly. Okay, yeah. So, this felt like skipping ahead, but it was a reply to this. Day 2, I just went out in normal clothes and bought my Shiroko plush everywhere. And then I ran into Yumie. So Yumie is a completely underrated VTuber. She's so fucking awesome. There's so many underrated VTubers there, and it feels awesome that Offkai gives them like meet and greets. They give everyone a meet and greet. They give everyone an opportunity in the sun. They give. There's so many people making merch of everyone, including in smaller VTubers. It's amazing. Yeah, don't care about the company they're part of, care more about the personality. Yeah. It seems like a weird thing to focus on with a VTuber, in my opinion. All in merchandises? Pretty much, yeah, because, like, okay, other than that, it was, like, parking fees and gas. Like, okay, I had to refuel before one of the days, but that's natural. And then parking was, like, $15 a day. That wasn't too bad. There's a little lot that's literally right next to the convention, but it's like weirdly behind the convention, and so it's a little secluded, but it's literally next to the convention. Like you get out your car, you walk for 2 minutes, and you're there. You're at the entrance. You just have to walk around the building because it's in the back, and that was great, and there was always parking there. Oh, and merchandise. Yeah, I bought so much like merchandise and prints. Feel like that money could have gone on a trip to Japan. I would like that someday. I really would. And I probably should have. But yeah, I only really can afford one trip a year. And I like Con, because Con, I love anime conventions so much because you are surrounded by your people. If you bump into someone at the supermarket, at just a grocery store, you may have nothing in common with that person. There might be literally nothing you two could ever discuss with each other. You bump into anyone at an anime convention, you will have something to connect each other with, and it is a great environment to just meet total strangers and form a strong connection with them. Someone I was in line with on day one, like, we talked about all sorts of awesome stuff, like he stopped by Offkai because he was on a road trip, and then so he decided to just kind of just go on into Offkai on a whim himself, and wanted to buy a bunch of merch, wanted to experience other VTubers he hadn't seen before, and also like talk. And then the conversation shifted. It's just like, oh, so you traveled to this and that, and he's outdoorsman. Is that the right way to say it? So he does a lot of hiking, he does a lot of camping, he goes to national parks like Yosemite, Yellowstone, all these sort of national parks, and just being out in nature. And it was really cool to talk about it with him. In fact, like, I told him about whatchamacallit, because he was interested in the parties and the drinks too. I told him about Yellowstone and how he should get some of that if he's interested in drinking, because Yellowstone is good stuff. Yellowstone is pretty good. They also, I forget the percentage, but a cut of the money they make from making this bourbon goes to a fund to help preserve parks, to preserve natural parks. And so that's a really nice thing they do for people, while also just making a good bourbon. Like, this is really good bourbon. National parks, not natural parks, by the way. So yeah, continuing on. Moving swiftly along, I need to refill on something. Maybe I will make a drink for myself. But where was I? There we go. Okay, there we go. Okay, Yumie Tsuchinoko. Look her up. Watch her. She's amazing. She's absolutely, undoubtedly just one of the most wholesome VTubers out there. Super underrated, super great person, great laugh, great personality, super wholesome and sweet. She's married. She has this cute little thing going. Her husband's username is Bear, and she talks about Bear a lot. It's very wholesome. She does a lot of she plays a lot of gacha games like Blue Archive, Honkai Star Rail, etc. And she's giga into lore stuff. So she loves, just Lore Archive. Lore Archive is her Blue Archive lore video sort of thing, and she will legit make 3-hour-long videos, 3 to 4 hour long videos on each volume of Blue Archive, so that you can really just get a comprehensive, absolutely full grasp of the lore for Blue Archive. And it's awesome because Blue Archive fans have a sort of reputation that, frankly, a lot of us don't want. It's a lot of tourism, to be frank. I think the people who only make bad memes, those guys are the tourists. The people who actually care about Blue Archive are people like Yumie, people like me. We love the lore. We go deep on the characters beyond just whoa type stuff. it's so cool to see, and then it's so cool to see someone like do it as deeply as Yumi it does. So it's super fun to talk to her. I spent the whole 2 minute, like I spent like a minute and a half of our 2 minutes talking about Lore Archive with her, and just how awesome that series is this and that about the characters and the way she did and whatnot. And then I spent another 30 seconds because she herself likes to drink, and her husband Bear is a mixologist. He gave me when I used to hang out in her Discord more often, he gave me a recipe for a hot toddy. Really good hot toddy. That is what I use from now on. Just anytime I make a hot toddy, I use her husband's recipe because it's so good. It is the best hot toddy I've ever had. A mother and her triplets. I was surprised so many mint standees exist, but it kind of makes sense. A lot of these are fan made. This one's from Offkai. This one's from last year's Offkai. I know that for sure. The one on the far left here. These two are new to me. I'm pretty sure the far right one over here is a custom. I have no idea where this one comes from. And to be frank, I don't know where the Nimi one comes from either. But Nimi and Mint feel like they go really well together. I just thought that was funny seeing all these together like this. Day 3, yeah. I said I literally have no plans. I did have a plan. I had one specific plan, but I decided to break out the Boba t-shirt from Luwud. I bought this, what? No, I think it was either 2 years, no, definitely 2 years ago. So 2 years ago, I can't remember if it was at Offkai 2022 or at Anime Expo 2022. But I know it was in 2022 that I got this shirt. I never wore it till then. Oh yeah, Offkai Live was the previous one. I should have posted more about Offkai Live because the Offkai Live happens on day 2. Day 2 was fucking incredible. Maybe I'll use this opportunity to talk about Offkai Live, especially because I finally got to watch a Tomoko stream. Tomoko stole the show for me. So Tomoko was the best VTuber there, in my opinion. Oh god, her head's cough. Let me just... Yeah. There we go. Now you can see her face. Let me catch up with chat real fast. Hello, Honor. When I go to more merch-focused conventions, I bring a small rolling suitcase so I can just stuff things into it and don't have to carry them. That's probably smart. I probably need to do that next time. I would worry about not having whatchamacallit. I would worry about forgetting it somewhere. That's why I like the backpack, because I just won't forget it. It will always be attached to my person. Someone needs to make a snake themed mint with a bandana and an eye patch. I'm sure someone has done that. At the very least, there was someone who had a little motor scooter type thing. Maybe it was an electric scooter, but point being, and it had that. It was a fan art of Mint with a bandana and an eye patch, like she was Solid Snake. It was really cool. Or Big Boss, rather. Big Boss. Anyways, where was I? Yeah. So Offkai Live was fucking awesome. So first things first, shout out to the staff. They really knocked it out of the park with this convention, setting things up in a way that was really well done. Yes, it was kind of hectic. Yes, it was pretty chaotic, but they managed to control the chaos as much as they could. And I appreciate that, given my experiences with AX and how crazy those lines could get. It sucks when things are so busy that you really should be lining up like 3 to 4 hours early to really secure your chance to get to a place. And that was true for Offkai Live as well, except they had they had a very good system in place where what they did was, okay, if you arrive 4 hours ahead, they gave you a certain color wristband. If you 3 hours ahead, a different color. 2 hours ahead, a different color. 1 hour or ahead, a different wristband, and you got priority depending on when you got it. And so it's like, okay, if you have mine was light green, I believe. I forget. I was in the 2 hours ahead bracket, so that would have been the third bracket. So if you were really early and you got the early wristband, you got to start lining up about, say, 45 minutes before the event. And then from there, so 30 minutes before, then you get the next batch. Then 20 minutes before, then rather it was like 45 minutes, then 40 minutes, then 35 minutes, then 30 minutes. So if you lined up way ahead of time, like hours ahead of time, they gave you a wristband. And then so you got to line up early, and so you didn't have to save your space in line. You didn't have to fucking wait for 4 hours in one place. You could get your wristband and do other stuff that you wanted to do. Continue shopping if you wanted to, hang out with people if you wanted to, etc. Hit up other panels if you wanted to. And then you come back to the line at your designated time so that you can still secure your seat in Offkai Live, but you didn't have to wait around for so long. So that was a really brilliant thing. Offkai Live itself was a banger as usual. So one big change, they set up a Vtuber area where it was just standing room only for the front of the stage, not like in the back, but in the front, so people can cheer and bounce around and do Vtuber and wave their pen lights all over the place, go crazy. That was cool. That also meant that there was plenty of seats. And so it was actually kind of nice to be able to secure a quote-unquote front row seat. You were still in the middle of the place, but it was front row enough. Like, I still had to lean over the fucking standing crowd, but it was okay. The off choir was as good as always, led by, I think her name was like EB. Actually, while I do that, let me just grab another beer because there's a lot I want to talk about, but I'm also a little parched. Just about 30 seconds. Fat butt complimentary. Oh my god, yeah, there were like two separate stories on why your mince butt was trending on Twitter. One was because at one of the Offkai parties, they were giving out bottles of, I believe, soju, could be wrong, giving out bottles of soju that were labeled like mince ass sweat. And it's just a bottle with her butt prominently displayed on the label. And then secondly, there was a cosplayer who sat on a lucky wisp. I was gonna say like Phantom, but I forgot the fan name for a second. But sat on a lucky wisp with her ass like fully out, like the skirt was lifted. You can see her panties, and that got like 20k likes on Twitter, and Mint herself noticed it. There was a lot of Mint butt going around. There was a lot of Mint in general going around. Anyways, Offkai Live. Oh man, Offkai Live was legit. I bet Race Knight would eat it up. I know Race Knight was there at the Yabai market. I didn't end up going to the Yabai market. But his tweets were really funny, and like the people replying to him, it's like, I touched the rice gnat's jock, and like, what the fuck? Fucking Orko was there too. Orko was being their usual silly self. Nani Wasn't. Oh my god, Nani Wasn't's tweets before the convention were so funny. He legit was like, I'm going to kill myself. Why the fuck did they put me right before her? Because he ended up getting a meetup so people can meet and greet Nani Wasn't. If you don't know who that is, he was Pomu's biggest clipper. He was the best clipper. Well, he's one of the best clippers, period, bar none. But he was specifically Pomu's clipper. Did so much stuff for Pomu. Did a lot of stuff since day one too. Like ever since from the moment she debuted to the moment she graduated, Nani Wasn't was making excellent clips for Pomu that whole time. He if you remember a few months ago, there was this big old trend of fem nani, where for whatever reason, a bunch of Pomudachis decided to just draw a Nani as a cute anime girl. Frankly, it was a really sexy outfit because it was just a leotard with the cropped hoodie and the thigh highs. It was weird. It was like, why are you guys horny for a clipper? But that happened, and so it became a joke that, okay, some people are actually unironically saying up a fem Nani cosplay, and then Nani Wasn't himself was like, okay, fine, I'll do a Nani Wasn't cosplay at a convention. He does it at Offkai. He even manages to get a meet and greet, because obviously, being Pomu's biggest clipper, or he was relatively popular, so a lot of people would have wanted to meet him. As it turns out, Mint Fantome was right after him. And he couldn't believe it. That's why he was like, I'm going to kill myself. What the fuck? Why? Why her? Why right before her? Oh my god, it was so fucking funny. It just like especially in that embarrassing outfit, in just all the crazy shenanigans he gets up to as Mint notices, because of course Mint would notice Nani Wasn't. It was fucking hilarious. It was just absolutely hilarious. Shit, we barely started on Offkai Live, and I've been hating out on Tomo's thing for a while. She remains underrated as usual. Offkai Choir was really good. Just their mashups, they keep getting better. They do a bunch of VTuber mashups, and it's cool that they do the full coverage. It's not just a bunch of Hololive stuff. It's every company with just wide range, a bunch of indies doing all sorts of a mashup of like a 10-minute mashup of bits and pieces of dozens of different songs from dozens of different VTubers and VTuber companies. It's super cool. So that's a fun opening act. It's really cool to just be able to. It's cool for just the people involved too. So the Evie herself is a VTuber, and she's the one who trains up a lot of VTubers. She deserves a lot of credit for helping a lot of people find their voice. And then the Offkai Choir themselves, you can volunteer for that. If you're a VTuber fan who just wants to contribute to the community, if you're a smaller VTuber who wants a place on the stage but don't necessarily have the ability to get as high as you can the same way a lot of the big names on Offkai Live are, frankly. No disrespect to them, it's just that Offkai Live, a pretty exclusive group for a reason. That the people involved are hella talented. Etc. Like Offkai Choir gives so many people chances to be on that stage, to support VTubers, to show off their own skills themselves. Really awesome. So Offkai Choir as the opening act, always getting better too. The first one to the first actual VTuber individual performance during the concert was Yumemi. I know she's done it before, actually. I'm pretty sure she was on a previous Offkai Live. She's got an excellent voice. She did this awesome performance where she had the VTuber up on the screen, as you would have expected. But then like I was wondering why she described herself as a 2.5D, and it was because she did a duet with herself. She herself went on to the stage and sung as the 3D human and the 2D VTuber, and they duetted together. It was a super cool event. It was a super unique take on them like finishing each other's lines in the songs. That was super rad and awesome. Really beautiful thing. And she did the whole like, you may means dream, me means beautiful, you may means beautiful dream. Like this whole like call and response thing with her own original song, and it was so cool. It was a really awesome and unique performance. I took videos of just the whole concert, but it's such shitty quality that I didn't feel like it was worth posting. But it's super cool seeing all of them. Like next up was Tomoko, I believe. So let's see, it was Yumemi, Tomoko, Obi Cat, Unnamed, Narissa, and Kizuna Ai. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I have them all added up. Tomoko stole the show for me. For me, the best performance is never the headliner. For me, the best performance is always is one of the underrated VTubers that they gave the stage to and does an absolutely amazing job. And I think Tomoko, in my opinion, stole the show. Her thing is weird. So she's a delinquent VTuber. She has that sort of like I don't want to necessarily say rough edge, but especially after watching her stream for the first time today, she does have like that delinquent tone to her, that delinquent manner of speech to her. It's cool. She's awesome. She's great at yapping. And then there's this whole weird thing about her piss gang and like what is going on. Why do you call your chat the piss gang? But she gets on, she starts singing, and first of all, she's singing a bunch of melancholic, emotional songs like Shoujo Rei and some other super emotional ballads and whatnot. And it was weird for sure, because it's like, okay, that doesn't fit the delinquent vibe at all, but it was also absolutely stunning. Absolutely gorgeous voice from Tomoko. It was amazing. There's not really much more to say. She just, she didn't do any other type of thing. She was just singing, and it was splendid. She did such a good job. And it's there's always like one or two VTubers that I see that's from Offkai Live that I'd never heard of Yumemi until an earlier Offkai, and realized, holy shit, she's a true blue idol. I've never heard of Tomoko, and she's this badass awesome singer. It was awesome. By the way, these pants, this is important because she talked about how she was on a budget. It was the first time she actually had a full body, because as her model actually only is halfway up. It's only a half model. So she doesn't have a bottom half. They gave her a bottom half so that she could have a standee. So she's been VTubing on a budget and just practicing her voice, having fun, chatting with people. She used to do art, she mentioned too, and just streaming, having a good time, practicing singing and whatnot. And she finally got the stage, and it's super cool that so many people got to discover her, because on her first stream back, like every 20 minutes it felt like there was a new viewer coming in. It's like, hey, I saw you at Offkai, your performance was so good, and she was so flattered by it. It was super cool. Every time I see Nerissa in outfit she used for the concert, I think she's a woman that would be heavily involved in the homeowners association. Oh yeah, the like office lady type of outfit. That did seem like a weird one to go into. I would have assumed she would have gone in her default outfit. Her defaults. I keep wanting to say skin because I play a lot of Nikkei and there's a lot of skins I want to buy. Yeah, I would have thought she would have done it in her original skin, because I feel like that's the most recognizable. It would have been the way to perform, but it was weird that she decided to perform in that one. With the scarf, yeah. Next up would have been, so... What order was it? Was it... OBA or unnamed? I'm pretty sure it was OBA first. Yes. OBA Cat was next. I'll be quite honest. So I know OBA is relatively popular. She's one of the biggest indies out there. I was not aware of her taste in music, and it was awesome. It's just, she is a hardcore metalhead. She did a bunch of screamo stuff. It was so much bass, so much just a shredding guitar, shredding bass, a screaming, all sorts of stuff. I'm not a huge metalhead, I'll be quite honest. I'm not really huge into metal, but it was a awesome change of pace from what you might typically expect from a VTuber concert. And so just for the novelty, it was really good. And also, of course, hyper talented. Screaming that much is a genuine skill, because you will absolutely destroy your voice doing that kind of shit. And she did that for what, like 10 minutes straight? 10-15 minutes straight. It was amazing. It genuinely was amazing in her performance. It was like the one I didn't wave my pen lights to that much, but it was because I don't know how the fuck to wave pen lights to a metal song. It was weird, but it was awesome, because you could tell everyone was vibing. Everyone's like headbanging, everyone's jumping around, even in the seats. Just as everyone's having a good time. But it was really hard to actually do proper idol stuff, proper idol fan stuff, because it's nothing close to like normal VTuber music. Important to know too, she did the hybrid thing as well. She played her music video in the background with her model screeching and singing and doing all sorts of crazy animations on the screens itself, but she was on the stage herself screaming into a mic, like singing stuff. And I think she brought on Kindtail and someone else. I know for sure Kindtail. Apparently she brought on someone else, but I just couldn't hear who it was because of all the banging music. So that was a fun aspect of it. That was really cool. Then we get to Unnamed, and I'll be honest, at first I thought it was a different VTuber. I thought it was a completely different VTuber. It wasn't. It was... they have sort of a deep feminine voice, but they have a male model. They were a non-binary VTuber. And honestly... like, I don't tend to lean towards male presenting, but they had a pretty hot model. And they were switching between outfits over and over, different hairstyles, different things. And one outfit had just like a deep V, a deep, just the deepest V showing off their chest. And it's like, holy moly. But then it got really emotional towards the. And actually, let me address this real fast. With metal, you headbang. Yeah, true. There ain't no use for that pen lights. Your head will be the pen light. Wave that around. Just bang your head and over and over. Yeah, so to get back to Unnamed. So they did a bunch of good, awesome music. But then at some point they mentioned like, oh yeah, I'm going to debut a female model, and just like opening up about being non-binary and how loving and accepting the VTuber community is, and how, like, they gave them the strength to be able to come out this way and be supportive. And they were like legit crying while doing their set. It was really wholesome. It was really nice. And of course the music was awesome. So it was, they were legit sobbing while singing. They missed a few lines, but it only just added to the cheers. Like, yeah, you got this. You saw. Like, it was so wholesome. It was so awesome. In addition to just the level of talent they were able to do. If it wasn't for my personal favorites of the sets, Tomoko, they would have been my favorite. Yusa. Super good. Super good. Amazing work for them. Proud of them for more reasons than just the singing itself. It was awesome. Then we got our first headliner. Okay, I did figure. I did honestly figure that at Chibity. I don't want to read that out loud, but I did figure that there was a weird sort of awkwardness to it. It was. I knew I recognized the voice. I knew I recognized the just various things about them. I wasn't aware that was as them, and I knew there was a sort of tension with that at the time. And honestly, as I mentioned, it's super awesome that they found themselves in that way. It's super nice. It was super nice. Super rad of them, super cool. I could have sworn they played the guitar too. Yeah. I wonder if they did their own tracks then. Because if there's... If there was... I'll have to rewatch it. I wonder if they did their own tracks then. Because they were just a full-on musician. They weren't just a singer. They were a full-on musician, as I recall. I figured you would have known, but it was a while ago. Yeah. No, it was a long time. I remember it being very weird and unique, but it was unfortunate how that time went. But it's in the back of my head, I figured they were related in some way, and now having that confirmed, that was it's cool. It's really cool for them to have found themselves. Super awesome. Then we got the first headliner. I believe usually Offkai was 5, but they made it 6 this year. Or maybe I'm just like talking out my ass. But I'm pretty sure, it's usually 5. And so, this normally would have been the headliner, but I mean, in this, I would call it 2 headliners. But This is the first massive one, was Netisa Ravencroft. I will be fully upfront. I haven't watched Hololive in years. I just after there was a point with Hololive clipping a while ago that got where it was that problem where it was like, okay, quite literally every possible thing they do is sexualized, and so it's like, oh, Mori out of context, this is a VTuber out of context, that Hololiver out of context, they moan and do this when it's just literally them breathing and whatnot. So I couldn't watch a Hololive for a while. I did I do check in occasionally because some of the music's fire. It's mostly a music thing for me. I did watch the third gen is Advent, right? Shiori, Narisa, Fuamoko, was Gigi part of it? I feel so bad for messing this up. I definitely watched Gen 3 though. It's like Gen 3, the Gen 3 debuts. It was my first time actually watching a debut again, and I thought about getting into Hololive back again. Didn't, because like the culture was still too brain rotty for me. GG is justice. Okay, yeah, I figured that. Who am I missing then? So it Shiori, Nerisa, Fuamoko, Bibo. For some reason, Bibo doesn't, in my head, doesn't register because it's like she feels different in compared to the other ones, because all of them are supposed to be villain coded, right? And I heard that was a big plot twist they did for, or whatever their, or like Minecraft roleplay was. Enrico. I don't know what that stands for. I know it's short for something, Enrico. And they had this scripted event where all of Advent betrays the rest of them, because Advent is villain coded, like, and that was pretty clear to me because they have the glowing eyes, they do a bunch of stuff. They were treated as criminals in their debut song, so it was like they're, I mean, in a badass cool way, of course, but like I know they were supposed to be the villains of the Hololive, and it was a super cool way to introduce them. But anyways, yeah, I watched their debuts, and first of all, so I have this weird thing. So I've always thought Hololive debuts took way too fucking long. The 1 hour debuts, they dragged like crazy. I only really watched Polkas when I watched Hololive Gen 5. When EN1 came out, first of all, I was night shift. Excuse me. I was night shift already, so I just couldn't watch most of them. And then, like, when I rewatched them, I kind of skipped around because they had to drag it out. And you could tell the talent was trying to drag it out in order to reach the 1 hour threshold that they needed to do. So it was really weird for me. I know I personally like the Niji debut events where, like, okay, when Obsidia came out, that was a super hype event where it's like, okay, very hyper efficient 20 minutes debuts, a debut show going alongside where they're reacting to everything, an interview at the end, and then a debut 2.0 the day after. So it's like, okay, if you missed the whole debut event, it would have been a hyper efficient event where you would get introduced to all the new talents of a new wave. You go into the next, you just go on and on and on into the next talent, so that you wrap up the entire debut event in 3 hours, and then you They do their debut song, and then the day after, if there is one you particularly like, you can tune into their 2.0, where they have of all the time they need to properly introduce themselves, because obviously 20 minutes is way too fucking short as well. But I prefer the fast debuts versus the really slow debuts, because with the Hololive style the old school Hololive style debuts, who's the 1 hour thing that the vast majority of VTuber companies do nowadays, that was way too long, and you could 100% tell that they were trying to stretch that. The 20-minute debuts were obviously too short. You can tell they're rushing through them, the talents, but it was also much more efficient. So obviously the sweet spot would be somewhere in the middle. So this is me bringing it all the way back to Advent, before we talk about Narisa's actual performance. But, you know, just I wanted to talk about this because it's like, I genuinely thought Hololive Advent's debut cycle was the best possible way. So I personally didn't like the whole concept, like, oh, the debuts are going to be spread out over 3 days, sometimes even 5 days, like a Hololive ID was spread out over like 5 days. And like, there's no fucking way you're gonna get me to watch all 5 of those. I don't have time for that shit. I can't dedicate that amount of time. So like I hoped that Hololive Advent would be 1 day. It was over 2 days, which was a buzzkill for me, but apparently like Hololive fans were more used to that. But the thing was, they were much more efficient with their time. I think those debuts lasted roughly 40-ish minutes, I believe. Yeah, I think they were like 40 minutes each, which is like the perfect sweet spot. So if the Niji ones were 20, and then the old school Hololive ones were 60, that's mean in the middle. That's 40. And it turns out that was fucking perfect. I hope VTuber companies, from now on, whether you're indie, you're a smaller company, do 40 minutes, okay? 20 minutes is not enough. 60 minutes is way too fucking much. Do 40 minutes. 40 minutes is perfect. Because as I remember distinctly with like Shiori, she could properly go through all of her slides, but not feel like she was dragging to extend time, not feel like she was rushing to make it under 20 minutes. That was true of like Narisa too. That was true of Bebo, like Bebo had time for bits. Like she had the time for that weird bit where she was like the Moai statue, and then everyone had to spam the pickaxe emote to then free her from the Moai statue. And then like, yeah, Nettie says again, Fuwamoko's was really efficient too. Yeah, it was a super cool event. It was really cool being able to do that. It goes by quickly enough that it doesn't drag, so they're actually getting through it pretty fast. But it's not so short that you can very clearly tell that the talent is rushing. Like, okay, Shiori can do a full model reveal. Fuwamoko can do a full model reveals. Bebo could do full model reveals, did a little bit too about like making your own pebbles and whatnot. It was super cool. And apparently like doing all the debuts in 1 day is very taxing on the talent, so I was fine with it being over 2 days. I wouldn't have been fine with it being more than that, but like it was for that compromise, it was good to have it over 2 days. And it was just it was the best use of time. Like the classic Holo style 60-minute, the classic style 20-minute Niji, like both of those had their huge problems. 40 minutes was the best of both worlds. They had time to go through everything, their hashtags, their this and their model reveal, this and that, a photo shoot even for some of that. But it wasn't so long that they had to feel like they had to fluff it up with a bunch of random bullshit that clearly was there to waste time. The last set of debuts for Phase Invaders with Sleepy, I think I slept through. I don't recall how they did the actual debuts. I only watched, I'll be fully honest, I only watched Sleepy's debut 2.0. Mostly because it's like I think I saw that they were an hour each and was like, oh my god, that style again? No, I don't feel like I wanted to see that. I love Sleepy. I mean, I'm wearing a Sleepy wristband right now. I'll tell that story when I actually get to my merch, but it's it's not yeah, just that as I don't like the way most of VTube companies do their debuts. So, I didn't want to like I felt like it would have been awkward to see her in such a sort of fake saying, if you know what I mean. Anyways, back to the concert itself. Nerissa had the fun set. She played a lot of English songs. She sang Yellow Summer, no, Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds from the Beatles. I sang along with one of them because it was just a comfy English song. Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. Shit, which one was it? I'm gonna look it up later, and I'm gonna be deeply embarrassed that I forgot. But she sang a bunch of English songs. She sang her one of her originals, which is again, because I don't follow Hololive, I wasn't aware of this original. It was a really good song. It was about Scarlet, and people always joke that it's about ERB, Elizabeth from the Next Gen, and they get shipped together a lot, and she has scarlet hair, so naturally it's her, right? But she straight up said, okay, for once I will dedicate to her, and like you could see it. So obviously her color is blue. Most of the pen lights waving around were blue. Half of the pen lights, and I did as a joke too, I switched my pen light to red for that song. And then finally we close with Kizuna Ai. Now, this was a weird one because it was super scripted. It wasn't actually live. And it was awkward for a sec until we saw, until like just the, it was basically a weird sort of announcement stream, but paused, like there was a bunch of awkward pauses in the middle to like allow the audience to react and cheer. So people weren't really sure how to react to this, given that it wasn't really live. But it was also just cool to see Kizuna Ai again and announce, oh yeah, I'm gonna start streaming again, I'm gonna do this and that, I have all these projects that I want to do. And then she starts singing and everyone does it, and then just people cheering, people do it, and then the set ends, and it didn't feel like the set really ended, but obviously it was pre-recorded, so it was like, oh, maybe this is just the end, maybe there's not really gonna be doing it. But despite that, everyone was shooting encore, 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 and then she came back, and obviously it was still relatively scripted, but it was like even more songs, even like it, 2 more songs, people cheering along, people waving their pen lights. It was super awesome, and just the like like her thanking everyone for coming by. This is her first time doing a show in America and wanting to do even more shows. And it was so cool. It really was so cool. It was awkward, but it was super cool. It's hard to describe because it was inherently fake, but it was still an amazing experience to get to see Keys in the Eye that way again, just being a normal VTuber again, as opposed to like whatever the fuck they were trying to do with NFTs, to be frank. Okay, we're almost through this, but there is some funny stuff I need to show off. Oh yeah, so there we go. Like Steve Sakai. If you don't know who Steve Sakai is, he is. I think he has taken the premier mixologist role in the VTuber community. Something I hope to take from him one day. I did even admit this to him. Like, dude, I'm jealous of you. You do such a good job with your videos. Like, I'm a mixologist too. I love making drinks. And I showed him the sleepy cocktail that I made. And it's like, oh yeah, no, I've recognized your work. And it's like, he was super cool to talk to. He's super well versed. He's super well studied on mixology. He's super well versed on like YouTube stuff in general. I told him like, yeah, like I'm jealous, man, and part of it is because like I have no fucking idea how to edit. It's like, yeah, I wouldn't want to wish that on anyone. And it was super cool getting to talk to Steve Sakai about just mixology as it relates to VTubers, and it's just super cool to discuss this level of artwork with Steve Sakai. It was awesome to run into him, and I totally forgot to fucking and take a picture with him until later. Narisa is here and she wants to talk to you about how tall your grass is. Right, the homeowner association type, the like homeowner association type people are so picky about like how long your lawn is and whatnot. She does give off that vibe, weirdly. She kind of does. GG's Justice Bebo. Yeah, I got there. It was Bebo. Yeah, okay. We talked about all that. There he is. Yep. Thank you, FaZe Connect, for another excellent Offkai. Has truly become a core con for me. I always plan to go every year, and it's one of the best parts of my year. I'll hang around the con a little longer with the sleepy cutouts, but after that, see you Gen 5. The auction itself was a hell of a story. Oh shit, let me try dragging this over. I'm gonna have to drag it back, but it's a... Yeah. I was the one who ended up with the sleepy cutouts. The bidding in general, the auctions at the thing... Actually, you know what? Let me use bathroom and then I'll tell the story. But you might... Well, no, this isn't the thumbnail. I thought about using this as the thumbnail. But, yeah. I ended up with the sleepy ones. I'll talk about the FaZe Connect standee auction in a bit. Just give me a sec. I have I've drank all my beer. I just got the last bottle. I'm glad you got to beat me, a big mixologist. I didn't know there were rankings. Not really. I mean, like compared to the other big mixology YouTubers, Steve Sakai is nowhere near them, but he is definitely 100% the biggest VTuber related mixologist. He's not a VTuber himself, but he covers a lot of VTuber stuff on his channel, and only starting last year he started to become a mixologist, and he's awesome, honestly, frankly. Like he has a similar vibe to How to Drink, my favorite. It's a mixology YouTuber who's like 1 million subs, by the way, and he makes a bunch of VTuber cocktails. He makes a bunch of stuff, and he does pretty good editing. And so he's I regard him as both my main inspiration and my main competition, because I want to be I want to be the biggest is a VTuber mixologist, or VTuber adjacent mixologist at the very least. But it's also like, I respect his game. He does so much good stuff for the VTuber community. His drinks are unironically quite good, and like, I definitely thought at first he was a bit amateurish, but like everyone is. Like he's just kind of fucking around and finding out and making the fun drinks, even if they weren't necessarily good early on last year. This especially with his most recent Hollow Stars video, he's become a great mixologist, 100%. And he's talking about how he's read a bunch of books, he's read a bunch of he follows the same mixologist I do. Like he has rapidly stepped up his game in a way that's really awesome to see. As a fan, it makes me super proud of him. As someone who views him as a competitor, I'm like, man, I need to step up my own game. So there's that. How many is that tonight? 3 beers, and I might even make myself a drink later, but we'll see. I want to finish the stories first. So I guess we might as well talk about the image itself and talk about myself a little bit. Yes, I bought both of the Sleepy Standees, and thankfully no one told my story on Twitter, because there was a much bigger story that happened during the auction. But I legit stared down the guy who was bidding against me for the Race Queen Sleepy. For 2 years, like ever since my first Offkai, frankly, I really wanted to get a cutout of a VTuber I like, just because it seems super cool to own one of these. I know so if you know the guy who held the auction, in fact, I wonder if I can pull him up. I'll try pulling him up later. In the meantime, actually, let me try doing this. At all soon no diary. Look up at all soon no diary on Twitter. He's a really cool guy, and he was the first guy to do whatchamacallit. So he got the first ever Uruka standee from, I think, Offkai 2022 or so. No, sooner than that. But he got the first Uruka standee from like a really early Face Connect convention. And just he's become the Uruka guy. He also takes pictures of a bunch of cosplayers, and I've seen him around under we were friends at one point before all this. I learned in like a recent anime expo that he was a cosplay photographer. It turns out he now basically ran the whole cosplay event for Face Connect. This event, he hired all the cosplayers for the Face Connect event, and took a bunch of pictures with them. Super awesome for him to do that, to arrange all of that. And also he arranged the standee auction. So he was the one who did the standee auction. He has a funny story too, but back to my story. The sleepy ones were the third and fourth ones, and legit, it's okay, right. What I was trying to say, the reason I went back in time was, so I saw that Also No Diary had these had his Uruka standee, and that was super cool. I've seen other people carry around their standees, and that's super cool. And I really wanted one. At one of the AXs, I really wanted to get, if you know the artist Foxy Rene, I really wanted to get hers. Even earlier than that, actually, I wanted to get Nini Yuna's from, I think, Offkai 2020. Yes, Offkai 2022. But that went up to that went up to like $350 or something, or close to $400. Like, I couldn't afford that at the time. Then, like I wanted to be prepared for the next one. So for the AX that followed, I wanted to get Foxy Rene's for like close to $800, and I did actually win the bid, but because I needed to have it shipped home, they were willing to arrange that for me. But then someone else decided to win someone else ended up getting it just because they had the ability to take it home. They didn't have the problem I had, which was to say, like, they didn't need to ship it. That guy could just take it and it would be off their hands. So it was like unfortunate. So I wanted to get a standee, but like I didn't want to just try to get one willy-nilly. I wanted to get one that of a character I actually like. And I didn't really know what my options were for last year's Offkai because I didn't end up going. But then this year, of course, Sleepy debuted. I loved this Sleepy even before she was in Face Connect. And then I saw these absolutely stunning cutouts and was like, okay, I need to set aside some money to make sure I get these. And I'll be honest, I was prepared to spend upwards to like $1,750, $2,000 for at least one of them. And I was lucky enough to get both, given the nature of the rest of the auction. So when it was my turn, when the Sleepies came up, the Race Queen Sleepy and then the normal Sleepy, I stood up, I confidently put down my bids, and there were two people bidding against me, then down to one as it got up to like 300, 350, and I legit just stared down the other guy. 250, 300, 350. Like immediately after he put in his bid, I immediately outbid him. It was like just trying to send a message while staring him down, being like, "Look, man, I'm going to win this. It's back the fuck up." and it's I did end up winning the Race Queen Sleepy for 350, and that felt good. And then while I was making the transaction to actually pay for it, the next one came up, and like while I'm still trying to pay for this, I'm yelling like 150, 200, it's 250 for the next one. It's like, dude, even the auctioneer or Also No Diary was like, dude, he's still paying for it and he wants the other one. And I guess they realized my determination to get the Sleepy ones because no one bid against me for the other Sleepy one, and I managed to get both, and that was awesome. I managed to get both Sleepies, and I was super proud of myself for less than how much I expected to pay for just one of them, let alone both of them. I forget the final tally, but it was like, okay, it was like less than $700 for both of them. But I mean, it's still quite a lot for a cardboard cutout. But it's, I was super proud of myself to be able to get both of these. But now I have no idea where the fuck to put them. I'm still figuring that out. But my story was not the interesting part of the story. So, as you said, Shubity, someone posted the auction numbers. I made out a lot better than the guy who bought the Clio. Let me correct you. The Clios with an S. So the rules of the auction was that bids start at $100. And then you must bid in an increment of 50. So if someone starts it off at 100, next one's 150. Then 200, 250, so on until someone places the highest bid. The first few go off without a hitch. The first real bid war was for the Sleepies, which I won. And then Clio was next. And almost everyone, even before the auction even began, knew the Clio ones were going to be a bloodbath. The first one wasn't so bad. It ended up at $400 though, so it was still decently high priced. And there was a small bid war for that, but you know, a guy gets his base Clio. Then the Race Queen Clio comes up. Auction starts. Okay, it's starting at $100. Race Queen Clio for $100. The first bid, the starting bid, was for $1,000. And just like the whole crowd, yeah, like, oh. Immediately following, someone was like 1,100. So we're already skipping because it's like, okay, it's supposed to be $50 increments. Someone just raised to 200. 1,300. Someone bumps it up to 1,300. We're skipping even more, just going crazy. 2,000. We skipped from 1,300 to 2,000, and it was the motherfucker who got the first Clio, and he just shut everyone up. Just absolutely. He stunned the crowd. Oh, everyone, just this massive gasp from the entire crowd as someone legit said 2,000. Going once, going twice, sold. I had to walk up to that motherfucker's hand and shake his hand. And that dude is absolutely crazy, but he got it. He got the Race Queen Clio and the base Clio, and man, what a legend. What a fucking legend. There are other fun bits. The Irie one was a legit bid war because that one got to a ridiculously high price. What did Irie get up to? Like 1,600, right? Like at least 1,400, I think. But I think it got upwards to like 1,600 or 1,750. I won't lie, I kind of wanted that one too. Like if I failed to get the Sleepies, either one, I would have tried to go for the Irie one, but the Irie one went crazy. It was like, okay, 100, 150, 200, 300, 400, and like the Irie one was the biggest all-out war, even if it wasn't the highest one. And so people going crazy, bidding until it finally sold for well over 1,500, I'm pretty sure. And yeah, that war was crazy. And another one, to bring it back to Also No Diary, Irie went for 1K exactly. Okay, so it was just breaking 1K, but still, that's still a crazy amount. Given that before, like the Face Connect stuff went for like what, like yeah, like $1,200 before, or I've heard about. So yeah, Ivy went for 1K. You went for 17. Okay, I remember that one too. That was Kaleido. That was Clara's gen, right? I know. I I feel bad because it's like, okay, yeah. I remember Clara the most from that gen, but also that was supposed to be a Japanese gen, and I just don't know the other ones. But it's apparently like you has a lot of big fans apparently because yeah, there was quite the bid war for her too. You went for 1700. Muyo. Oh yeah, the Muyo was a crazy bid too. Sheena. I forget how contested the Sheena one was. I feel like it was between 2 or 3 dudes who were trying to outbid each other. But like the reason Irie stands out to me was it was like multiple people in the crowd fighting for that one. For sure. I think you was pretty contested as well in terms of number of competitors for it. Yeah, you is the all black wearing Japanese girl. Oh yeah, yeah. She's kind of tomboyish too, right? She's really attractive. I can understand that one. Tenma and Jelly each 1K. Yep. There was always a gas when they got to 1K, and it was part of why I was like, the longer the auction went on, the more I felt like I stole something because I got both sleepies for under 1,000 when individual ones were going for over 1,000. I was so relieved. I was like, oh, thank God, I got here before the whales did. And I would have been willing to fight the whales, but it would have been a lot more painful for me. Ah. Yeah, those were funny fights. The Uruka fight was funny. It didn't go up as high as those ones, but I think it sold. Was it 500 or 600? Um, Yeah, relatively speaking, you did great. Yep, yep. I, I'm super glad. No, I was prepared to get into a much bigger war than I thought, but I guess I lucked out that there weren't other whales. Two, I lucked out in that I must have exuded enough confidence to like get everyone else to back down. um. Yeah, so the Uruka one. So again, also no diary. He has the original signed and Uruka Face Connect one from way back in like probably like Anime Expo 2021 or some shit. Like really old Uruka one. And it was so funny. So he starts the bid and it's like, okay, 100, 150, 250, 300, 350, 400, 450, 450 going once. And then he points at himself and goes 500 because he's the host of the auction is a big Uruka fan. He has the original Uruka standee, and so he started bidding for it too. And he was getting booed, but it was like a really friendly, like joking boo, and it's like boo, and it was really funny to see him start getting into the bid war for it as well. And he ended up winning it for himself. So it's like in any other case, you might cry collusion or like rigged or whatever, but everyone knows who he is. Everyone knows he's like the premier Uruka simp. Like, let him have this, whatever. There were a few like cosplayers who got into the mix too. I know the Mari Mari one, the Mari Mari race queen. I think it was the Mari Mari race queen. I forget. I forget if she got the normal Mari Mari or if she got the race queen Mari Mari. But the Mari Mari cosplayer, like right before the auction, they did a cosplay, a photo shoot thing. That was fun too, to be frank. Like, I was there for the standee auction, but the cosplay shoot was actually kind of awesome because The cosplayers are so good, especially the Tenma one was my favorite. To be frank, mostly because she's also very short and very feisty as well. She has a similar voice and everything. Like she was absolutely hilarious. The Pippa cosplayer was hella hilarious too. The Mari Mari, like all of them were pretty damn good. But like in particular, those three stood out. But anyways, like the Mari Mari cosplayer, so they had a planned photo shoot. They did their whole group photo shoot, and then while the auction was underway, they were like, okay, if you want to take individual photos with us, we'll be going on the other side of the screen and we'll be doing the auction here. And then so like the Mari Mari cosplayer, who was the host of that, did that, went to do some photos with other fans, but then immediately rushed back. Like the moment the Mari Mari cutout was going on sale, and she started baying for it. It's like 350, 400, 500. How much did the Mari Maris go for? Because like I know she ended up winning at least one of them. I don't think she won both, but she definitely won at least one of them. And you could tell she rushed over from the other side of the screen to get to the auction because she really wanted the one of the Mari Maris. I forget which one it was. It was funny how much thicker the Mari Mari cosplayer was than Mari. Mari is petite as hell. Is the issue is like, does anyone have that body type? No one has the same body type as Mari Mari. Mari Mari has like the Mari Mari cosplayer, whoever it was going to be bigger than the actual Mari Mari. Regular Mari 500, Race Queen Mari 700. She must have gotten the regular one then, because I think the video I saw of the cosplayer gained the Mari Mari standee won for 500. So I don't think she got the Race Queen. She must have gotten the regular Mari Mari. Which either way, hell of an accomplishment, especially because she had to rush over from her actual job to participate in one of the auctions. And then at the end, it was very funny. So all the standees get sold. It was super awesome. And then there was a Sakana one, and it's like everyone was starting to scream Sakana, 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 Sakana. And then so the Sakana one got bidded on. I did put in a joke bid for it, but I think it ended up at like 250 to 350. Oh wait, the notes say that the Mari Mari cosplayer got the Amy standee for 500 because she also cosplayed Amy. Oh, okay. I must have gotten it mixed up. I know it was around 500 that she got, whichever one it was that she got. But yeah, I'm so glad it was an auction, because if it was a raffle, I would have been so salty if I just bad luck prevented me from getting the sleepy cutouts. But also like it was fun watching the auctions take place, because it was super chaotic at times, and it was really cool. Sakana went for 250. Yeah. It didn't go for as much as some of the big ones, but there was still like a small bid war for it. Hello. What's up, T? How are you doing tonight? We're just talking about Offkai stuff. I haven't even gotten to the merch I bought yet, but I'm just mostly telling the story of everything I did. Okay, next up, and let me just reposition everything real fast. That should be good. That should be good. Let's. Frick. Give me just one more sec. There we go. One more time, thank you again for all the good times. See you next year, fellow VTubers, some VTuber fans. Yeah. Oh, man. Let me skip ahead and then I'll go back. Yeah, so I did hang out for a while. Bridge Sensei is a super cool person. They followed me when I made that sleepy cocktail, and then like I learned he's a big old Blue Archive fan, so that's why he stuck around. Bridge Sensei is an awesome dude. He had a sleepy flag, so he took it. He let me, and you might notice this is my thumbnail. He let me hold the sleepy flag, and then took a picture of it for me, and it was super awesome to be able to have that. He specifically wanted to find me, show that off, so that was really cool of him. I really appreciate him for this image. It was awesome to see. Honestly, it wasn't even for the attention. I just wanted to sit around, take a break, reflect, and then eventually find some people to talk to. And yeah, it was awesome to see him come up to me. He had a cool like Millennium jacket from Blue Archive, the school Millennium, so that was super cool. It was awesome. It was really awesome to just be able to like meet with people, talk with people in general, just like at the con, at the parties, at these events. It was awesome. It genuinely was super awesome. I did remedy the situation. I did end up finding Steve Sakai again and getting to take a picture with him. Actually, this time. Again, like, go follow. Like, I don't care that he's my competitor. Go find Steve Sakai's channel, watch his video, subscribe to him. He's super fucking awesome. Like, he deserves, like, imagine a crown on his head. He deserves being the king of mixology for the VTuber space. I will take that crown from him at some point, but he deserves it. He's super good at what he does. He's super awesome. He's a super chill and honestly good guy. Like, he's talked on stream about like how he won some type of I wish I could tell the story properly, but he told the story of just this kind of a fucked up scenario about how like a trans person was not being respected, frankly, and that he won an award solely based on just being nice to that person. And it's like, it's really cool for him. And then, yeah, I took home the the sleepy cutouts. I haven't even put up the other one. I only have the race queen one out because I have no fucking idea where to put them. And then that was my announcement stream. But to back up a little bit, yeah. So I took this picture after hanging out in the con for like a good 2 hours after it technically ended. So the last event was at 4 p.m. They didn't really kick anyone out, but they're like, you can tell they kind of wanted to nudge you out because they were starting to take down everything. All the vendors' halls were closed at this point. People were tearing down the posters. It was clear to everyone. It was over. It was time to get out, but not everyone wanted to leave. So people were hanging out in the upstairs area like I was. People were hanging out in the downstairs area like I was for a little bit. People were hanging out outside over here. I took this picture after another Mint Phantome meetup because just, there's so many people, so many VTuber fans, so many just us cool people hanging around the convention still, not wanting it to end. And so, people were dancing to idol music, doing wotage, just singing, chatting with each other. Just no one wanted it to end, but it eventually had to. The crowds were thinning out like crazy. I overheard like a Phase Connect group that I saw with like a sleepy cosplayer be like, "Yo, you want to go get something to eat?" It's just like, yeah, and then they dispersed and just like everyone was dispersing. It was becoming so empty, and it was like I was already feeling the post-con depression because like right after the auction ended, like it was game over. Like Offkai had ended, but obviously everyone was lingering around for another 2 hours. But that 2 hours passed. People were getting hungry. People were disappearing from the site, and it was just like I already had post-con depression before I even went to the venue for day 3. And it hit even harder because I decided to hang out for another 2 hours to take that picture with Steve Sakai, to take that picture with Bridge Sensei, to talk to a bunch of Mint fans, Home fans again, and to hang out with all sorts of random people. It made the post-con depression hit even harder because it was like, frankly, like I wasn't satisfied. Like I wish it would go on for longer, but it didn't. And it felt sad to drive home for the last time, and that's why yeah, we definitely scrolled by it earlier. At the very least, I wanted some good food because I don't tend to eat very well at conventions. That thing you should know about me with conventions in general, just the AX, Fanime, wherever I go, Offkai. My body takes a brutal pounding during conventions. So even if I was on a normal person schedule, like let's say I worked a normal 9 to 5, I would make a point to wake up much earlier than I normally would. So like for AX, I do want to wake up at like 6 a.m., leave for the convention at 7 a.m., no later than 8 a.m. For Offkai, I'm a little more lenient. I wanted to get there before 11 p.m. basically. For Fanime, it's been a long time since I've been to Fanime, but I want to get there before like 10 a.m. So I'm waking up pretty early, trying to have a big breakfast. Trying to have as big a breakfast as I can, and then go to the con for as long as possible. So like with Fanime, I'd be there until like 7 p.m. For Offkai, I'm there like till 7 p.m. For Anime Expo, I'm there for until like well past midnight, and then repeat that process. Wake up early. Stay all day, even past midnight. Come back. And I only eat once during that time, and it's usually something deeply unhealthy. I remember at one AX, there was they sold fancy peanut butter sandwiches. So their whole menu was peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and you would think, oh, that sounds basic as fuck. Well, no, they would have like, oh, whiskey infused peanut butter, or like just super fancy jellies and etc. Just as all these weird combinations of fancy jellies, fancy peanut butter sandwiches. So I bought a lot of them. I bought like 20 sandwiches. Not even like 10 to 15 sandwiches that was going to serve as my food for the entire weekend. And so on that entire thing, I did subsisted on peanut butter sandwiches. On a previous AX with an old friend way back in like 2016, 2017, we would go downstairs to buy Subway sandwiches, just one Subway sandwich, a big one, like a foot long. And then that was the only thing I ate all day, plus water. Just like absolutely unhealthy lifestyle. This year it was like, okay, I would have breakfast. Uh, one of them was nice. I actually got to have like the leftover prime rib from my birthday, but then later on it was just like, okay, chicken tenders or like some other like leftover food, and so I would just have a big plate of something and then go out the rest of the day and try to survive. So I was like, you know what, before I go home, I really want sushi. So I went to a sushi joint, just a random one that I pulled up, and got me some sushi so I can close out the day. Came home, but then I knew there was going to be one more Pippa party. So the Pippa party was oh, I forgot to mention the Anikura. I'll get to that. That'll be an addendum today too. Um, the Pippa party was on Friday night, 9 p.m. to whenever they decide to shut it down. I left at midnight, and then Sunday night, which was like 9 p.m. to 8 p.m. to midnight. The guy who ran the party was like, okay, I have a flight to catch, so I will be closing this party early, but you know, it was awesome. Still, like this wasn't the end of my day, but it was the end of the Offkai, and it was like super depressing, just like coming home, dropping off all my stuff, and knowing like when I go back to the con, they will have already ripped down all the posters. It will just be an empty shell again. But I made it back to that hotel later that night. I honestly didn't drink anything. I just drank water because I just wanted to hang out with people one last time. I wanted to hang out with people, talk with people one last time, chat, to be in an environment with these VTuber fans all over again. And when the host decided to shut everything down, they wanted to do one more toast for everyone. Everyone took a shot. I took a shot of water, and just slammed it back and just welcome everyone to the Offkai, and that cured my post-con depression. Like, now I felt satisfied. Now I feel like I can let Offkai go. Now I felt like it was okay for me to leave again. And it was a great send-off. Whenever I go to a con, they usually gotta kick me out. I usually starve myself at cons because eating takes time. Yes, eating takes time, and also it's very expensive. So, admittedly, I did stop by a food truck, and it was a way overpriced burger and a way overpriced burrito. But, like, I take what I can get. I want to go to Offkai one day after hearing the stories and stuff. It sounds real fun. All conventions are really fun. If you ever get the chance to hit up a convention, trust me, it is a way over time. I wish I could go to every con I can, but alas, like, one, PTO, like, I can't expend that much PTO, and two, like, money. it's an expensive endeavor, especially if you buy as much as me, which we will get to. Unfortunately for me, it's not all that easy. Now I just feel sad in fact I probably won't be able to go for a while. You should try to save up. And figure it out, because I promise you, it's a life-changing experience. The first time I went to Offkai, it was a genuine life-changing experience. So many fun stories. I'd probably eat because I absolutely hate the feeling of being hungry. My only concern is the overstimulation. It can be, but like, you kind of embrace that in a way. Like, for one, you should expect a ton of activity happening fucking everywhere. And for two, like, you can avoid some of the more densely populated areas, and there's plenty of places where you can just they understand that people can feel overstimulated, and then so you just go to a place they designate places that are supposed to be safe zones, quiet zones, where you can just breathe, relax, take your time. I take those sometimes. I go to the atrium, I sit down, and I take like a 10-minute nap, just because I'm so tired. My legs are on fire. I mentioned like I don't sleep well during in cons because like I did leave early, come home late, and I don't eat much. Inherently, because I'm not sleeping much and I'm on my feet all day carrying about on the there's like tons of merch that's heavy as fuck. Like my legs are on fire. I remember Sunday I got a decent amount of sleep and it's like, okay, maybe my legs won't be on fire today, and then like immediately after walking into the RS alley, my legs are burning again and I'm super much in pain. Ugh. Yeah, there we go. Needed to get that out. And yeah, it was just a super difficult experience. Physically, it was very emotionally healing. I was so glad to be able to hang around like-minded people. I mentioned this earlier, but like this is why I love cons so much is you bump into someone at the supermarket, at the grocery store, at a car dealership, wherever. Like you might have nothing in common with that person. You really won't. They are a complete stranger to you in every possible way, and there's nothing you could connect to with them. You bump shoulders with anyone at an anime convention, at Offkai, the Vtuber convention, you know for a fact that you two can connect on something. You with a complete stranger, you know for a fact you can talk about some anime, you can talk about VTubers you like, you can talk about this and that, and you can create some real connections with people. Even if you never meet them again, just the fact that you were able to chat with someone for so long and to always have a common thread to be able to talk to someone with about anime, about Offkai, about VTubers, about Offkai, etc. Like, it's truly magical just being able to be in that environment. I'm a deep introvert. I get really shy talking to people. At the Pippa parties, I was awkwardly alone sometimes. But then when I find someone able to talk to me, or they come up to me to talk to me, like we can have a conversation. We can have this fun journey together, and it's great. Honestly, it's so great that these conventions exist to bring together fans, like turbo fans of these things, and you would always be able to talk to someone. I can't get some income first, which should be solved soon, sure, but like you don't necessarily have to buy anything. I'm just a crazy person, which I'll explain once again. I'll explain in a bit. We're done with my story. Well, there's one more story I need to tell, but we're close to done with my stories, and now I'm going to talk about merch, which will probably incite some stories, but now you can see why I spent $3,000, and trust me, when you see it, T, you'll see why most of it is like extraneous, and you don't actually need to buy all that. I almost forgot about the fact that I watch basically zero VTubers. That's also kind of fine. The guy I talked to, who was like big into nature and stuff, he talked about how he started watching Cleo because she streams for so long and plays a bunch of games she likes. But it's also like you don't have to be a hyper Day fan, and I do think that's something that I appreciate about like a lot of hardcore VTuber fans, is that they understand the concept of like you watch who you like when you have the time to watch them. And so it's sure, you might not be the deepest fan as going so crazy as, let's say, buying 2 cutouts of them like I did. let alone all the merch, or you know, like all these other hyper fans. Like, you gotta remember, your view counts. If you're there at all, you are supporting the VTuber. I thought about this. I discussed this with Tomo actually earlier on her stream. Because she was talking about like how breathtaking it was from her perspective being on stage for Offkai Live, and I mentioned it myself, which was I genuinely, from the audience, I couldn't understand like what it must feel like to see the pen lights waving around. And then I saw a video which shows the perspective of the performer. So it's a camera angle from the performer side of you looking into the crowd and seeing the sea of lights. Just everyone waving their pen lights in unison and cheering, all that stuff. And it's just a fucking magical sea of lights, a magical wave of bodies is in rhythm, all cheering you on, the performer. And that's when I finally understood, like, oh yeah, like I need to be a voice in this symphony. It might not feel like it matters if you're like one viewer in 1,000, but your voice matters. You are contributing a little bit more to this chat. You are contributing a little bit more to their growth. You are contributing a little bit more to validating their existence. It's why like you have to remember too, just like how much of an exception literally everyone is. If you are remotely known at all, you are already an exception. If you have 3 viewers, you're already like in the top 92% of all streamers that exist. If you have 10 viewers, you're like in the top 99% of all streamers that exist. Let alone the ones that are huge with 4-digit viewers, who are like the top 1% of the 1%. The Hollow Lives of the world and whatnot. Okay, how far are we at right now? Okay, we passed 2 hours and I still haven't talked about my merch. I'm gonna try rushing through Anikura, but then after that, we will actually show off all my merch. Be right back. But first, bathroom. Need to stream again at some point. Yeah, part of it is you actually need to stream, so make sure you get on that if you want to do that. But you don't even need to be. You don't. So part of what I respect about Offkai so much is, one, you don't even need to be a VTuber. if you're a VTuber fan, like obviously, I mean, even more obviously, like you're just there to support VTubers. Like that's obviously a good reason to go. But if you're a small VTuber, they will give you opportunities to try to promote yourself. Like, hey, I stream sometimes. You want to check me out? And it's like people are receptive to that. People are like, oh, actually, yeah, maybe I will check you out. Like if you're making friends with people there, or if you like the thing about like Yumemi or Tomoko, who I mentioned earlier, or like other ones that they're relatively small streamers, but they have such incredible voices that they're Offkai was like, dude, you have an amazing voice. We need to get you on a stage so more people can see you. Like obviously they have their big headliners that everyone is there for, but like it's great that they also give smaller VTubers a chance to be on that stage, a chance to do panels, a chance to do all sorts of different stuff. So like you can do all sorts of crazy stuff, and it's yeah, it's worth it. It's so like that's why Offkai is so awesome. Is like you just there's always going to be opportunities for VTuber fans, smaller VTubers, or to showcase themselves. It's not just the highlight of the biggest stuff, which is sort of my issue with Anime Expo these days. It's like clearly become very corporatized, which is fine because I love of all the crazy stuff that's Anime Expo puts out, but it's also like it's really awesome that smaller VTubers are the feature of Offkai. So the last story, honestly, actually, sorry, 2 more minutes, because it will be hard to tell the story of Anikura without a certain piece of merch that I got. Mm. 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 If we can just have Shiroko the whole way through. I don't think she sits up on her own very well, though, is the issue. Yeah, she wants to fall over. She doesn't really sit up on her own very well. Maybe? Okay, no. I need to lean her back on something. I think I can pull that off. I just need to move these, probably. That's fine. I can always move these back. Shiroko beloved. Shiroko beloved. Okay, you can lean back on my bottles, Shiroko. Oh gosh. Okay, come on. Come on. There we go. There we go. Do I want another drink of something? Let me figure that out while I put away the bottles real fast. Kind of craving for a soda right now. That's actually a good idea. I'm gonna go grab a ginger beer. Before anyone's like, no, Natsu, you already drank 3 beers already. Ginger beers are non-alcoholic. They don't contain alcohol, so don't come. Oh my gosh, don't come at me sideways about that. That's like, I'm already taking care of myself. I'm already chasing. Come on, Shiroko, lean back, lean back. All right. Hopefully that's great. Did you grab that Offkai or did you always have it? I buy it at Offkai. And it's important for the it's important for the story of Anikura, because so Anikura is always happening after Offkai Live. So after that big concert, Anikura does their shows, which is a bunch of DJs doing cool sets. I'll be honest, I was like, I kind of want to hit up the party floor though, so I really want to. I kind of want to hit up the party floor, so I want to do that. So I hit up the party floor, and not gonna lie, 1, they were all hella packed. 2, it was a little lame. there wasn't any good drinks going around, at least is for me. And then there was yeah, I didn't like the vibes of the place, so of the party floor. So I just decided to go to the Anikura show a little late. And for one, I got there and there's this awesome, super cute VTuber doing a set. And I was like, okay, that's awesome. Hopefully I didn't miss Cynthion. I've talked about Cynthion a lot. DJ VTuber. She I mentioned like she IRL posts, but it's like she has a pass because it's like, well, her job involves being IRL. So the VTuber there was really good. Momo something, I forget. Really cute. Wish I took more pictures of her. She was awesome. I wasn't too late. Cynthion was there. Cynthion was the next set after that to VTuber, and so Cynthion does her set, and I know. So if you followed Cynthion for a while, she was like, her original model was like a blue-haired schoolgirl, really cute. Decently simplistic design, but like in a good way. Like very instantly recognizable. Didn't need a lot of flourish to really do it, and very star themed. So very star themed schoolgirl. But then she recently changed to a wolf girl model. Part of that was because of Shiroko. She got really into Blue Archive at some point. She got into it because of the music, because Mitsukiyo is a legendary music producer. A bunch of the people who do Blue Archive music are legendary producers. And so she was fully into Blue Archive for the music. Not necessarily the characters, not necessarily the story, for the music. 1, she rebranded to a wolf girl. 2, she... because of Shiroko. 2, we're just she's super into Blue Archive to the point that she started making songs for Blue Archive. 3, she was already just an amazing DJ in general, and so she goes to these sets. It's a banger set as always. She's doing a lot of her own original music too, which is unique to her, and it's awesome. And the whole time, I'm just like waving the Shiroko around. There was another guy with a Shiroko, and we're just waving our Shirokos around. I'm waving their arms too, like waving our pen lights. It was so cool. It was so awesome to see. It was so fun to be able to do all that, and I'm so glad I managed to pick up the Shiroko because of that. Because man, that 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 party really saved the night for me. I think I had a great time of that. Doing that after the say, I took a picture with Cynthion, which I forgot to post, but I need to go around and do that, and it's like so. Oh, I talked about how much I wanted to see Sleepy stuff. Like Cynthion's one, I really want to see too because she's her music's Boehner. The Anikuta dance party is Boehner because of her. Just being able to like cheer for her with the Shiroko was awesome to see. It was just awesome. It was so awesome. That should be the last story from our timeline series. But now we're gonna talk about all the fucking merch I bought. So as I mentioned, it took me. Actually, let me rewind a bit just so I can read the comments. Shiroko beloved, she's too heavy. I wish I could have a big one like that, but I only have a small Shiroko plushie and a Hoshino plush. Yeah, I actually got a Hoshino plushie too, which I'll show off in a second. I'd love to take stuff like that with me, but worried about potentially being nabbed, not at the convention, but in general. I can understand that, yeah. Like, stuff can go missing, especially if you leave them behind by accident. But that's why I basically always carry things around in a backpack. Something that's just straight up attached to me so I can't lose it. Did you grab that Offkai, or did you always have it? Yeah, I always had. I did grab it at Offkai. Much as a root beer, I guess. Yeah, root beers and the ginger. Well, a ginger beer is the exact same as a root beer, except that instead of being made with all kinds of roots, it's just made with ginger. That's confusing. Why is it called a ginger beer if it doesn't yet have alcohol in it? A beer isn't necessarily alcoholic, as I remember. A beer is a sort of beverage that you ferment. And usually that means alcoholic, but like it can be very weakly alcoholic. To the point that it's like so weakly alcoholic that you can serve it to children. I mean, you shouldn't, but then also like we figured out ways to make ginger beers and root beers that are non-alcoholic entirely. Shiroko's already coming at you sideways. True. Uhe. Yep. So, I guess we should start with those two since they're here. Yep, I got me a Hoshino and a Shiroko plushie. So, hella randomly, like there were a bunch of like. So, in addition to obviously VTuber stuff, because it's a VTuber convention, there's all sorts of weird, random paraphernalia. I hope I'm using that term right, but there's a whole bunch of random paraphernalia for all sorts of cool, different. Series like Blue Archive, and there was one place that was selling hella card sleeves and the Hoshino and Shiroko plushies, and I was like, I gotta have one of those. I've been really wanting one of those, and they only had the big old jumbo size one, so I like it. Like, were they a little cumbersome? Sure, but they were awesome. And so I really got I got both of them. They were like 150 each. It was pretty pricey. I'm sure I'm probably getting jibbed at that price, but whatever. It's worth it because I'm pretty sure these are out print. And it was, oh my gosh, Shiroko, please be stable. Okay, yeah, it was super awesome to see that, and then it was, yeah, I just wanted them so badly. And at that same shop, and now we're actually This was like the first place I got anything from, and I got so much card game stuff. I got me an Azur Lane, just all manner of card sleeves. We got soda. I got some marine for my friend. I'll tell that story in a sec. Privati. More marine. Another Modernia. The Modernia sleeves that match along with these. More soda. Taiho. I should probably put these upside down so you can see these. Maybe Shiroko is drunk. Median, yep, I got some Median and sleeves and deck boxes. It's really cool. Another Taiho over here. Again, like I think the most important story here is the marine one, because these aren't mine. These are going to be a gift to someone. More soda. Oh, here we go. Yeah, I definitely am gonna sleeve something in these. The Scarlets. That's upside down. The Scarlets. I definitely want to sleeve something in the Scarlets. As I recall, these are coming in packs of how many? No. Yep, they have the. These are official, by the way. So like this was branded by Shift Up. Do they say? I'm pretty sure they say. They're supposed to say 65 each. 65 each. So there's 65 each. That's why I got 2 of each, because I want to sleeve these in Canadian Highlander decks, which are 100 cards each. So there's gonna be 130 of each sleeve, which feels like overkill. It's not. You need the spare sleeves. Because inevitably sleeves break, and then so if you actually plan to play with any of these sleeves, you're gonna need the spare sleeves. The deck boxes are really nice though. So there was an Azur Lane one that I got, which was really... So all of these were like $20 each, and you saw me get tons of packs of them. So I got 5 Nikkei characters at $20 each. So that's like 20... So 40 times 5 is 200 already, like 240. And then I got like I got the 2 plushies, which were 150 each. So that's 300. So it's already adding up really fast. This is another 40. I got me a really nice red hood playmat, which might be a little sussy for the stream. But yeah, that was like my first major purchase was that. The marine ones, I knew I wanted to get something for my friend. He's a big Azuki fan, but there wasn't really much Japanese VTuber, there wasn't much JP VTuber representations other than HoloLive. So I decided to get him these instead, and it's because there's a magic card called Captain Howler, and he's a big Commander player. So the thing with Commander is you choose a legendary creature, or you choose like a legendary creature, and they represent your deck. You build around their deck, and the Captain Howler in the lore is a shark pirate. So the normal magic art is like a regular shark pirate dude, but in the game, you can buy, because it's a casual format, people don't mind if you proxy. I got him a proxy that's Gaur Gouda dressed as Marine, and so so that's a really cool proxy for him to like change up his deck to make it cool. And I thought, what better way to do his Gaur Gouda deck than to put Marine sleeves on it. So I thought that would make for a really cool gift for him. Yeah, but that's like 300 plus another 200. That's 500 right there. Plus the mat, which was like $45. Yeah, like we're already at around 550 right now. Any red shoes merch? Tragically not. Tragically not. I don't think people like red shoes that much. Not as much as I do. So much cool merch. Relative to us, the cards are upside down. Yeah. Maybe Shiroko is drunk. Yeah. Median. Yep. I would be vulnerable to all these, like, genuinely. Yeah, no, this will become a common thread as I show off everything. Because I'm not even showing off my prints, and those are gonna add just endless, fucking endless amounts of like standees. So there's a nice Ayami, another Ayami. Ayami is so fucking cute. Like, Mint, like obviously her daughter Mint Fantome is the famous one, and like Sleepy herself is has gotten really big, thankfully. Like obviously I'm a huge supporter of Mint. I'm a huge supporter of I'm especially a huge supporter of Sleepy, but man, oh man, did I just hit my thing? Okay, that should be good. But like Ayami herself is mega cute. I'm actually really mad at myself because there's a ribbon, so like you can get ribbons for your name tag. There's a ribbon that says like Ayami's failure of a boyfriend, and I really wanted that one. What other standee? Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, these are so cool. So I got a Yuka standee and whatchamacallit, a Mari standee. I got so much Blue Archive stuff because there was randomly a bunch of Blue Archive vendors. And so I just got so much Blue Archive stuff that was super cool. Like, look at this. The Aris, the schoolgirl Aris. It's so cool. Look at how confident this Yuzu is. Oh my gosh. I ended up getting like so much non-VTuber stuff, like Dark Magician Girl as well. Let's see, what other standees are down here? Uhe. Another Hoshino. Another Addis. Like, I got so much Blue Archive stuff. Like, part of why this didn't end up. Part of why this didn't end up being in way more was because I had to stop myself from getting Blue Archive stuff. I had to stop myself from getting more Blue Archive stuff because I was just buying every Blue Archive merch I could see. Like, I see it, I get it. Was there a handful of Blue Archive boots? Yeah, so it's like they weren't necessarily common, but if they had the Blue Archive stuff, they had a ton of Blue Archive stuff. You know what I mean? Where it's like, okay, there's let's say like, okay, there's several dozen boots. There might have been like 6 to 8 that had Blue Archive stuff, except that if they had Blue Archive stuff, they had a ton of Blue Archive stuff. Yeah, so oh god, Ayami herself is so cute. I definitely want to use these. I'm definitely gonna use some of these Blue Archive stuff, although there's just so much of it. And then of course keychains. I'm kind of a fiend for keychains. I swap out keychains. It's a lot. It's funny to me how Ayami is big into boobs, but it's a mint, as in people joke Sleepy's booba was Ayami getting her frustrations out. I kind of agree with that, to be honest. I kind of agree with that because it's like Ayami drawing a small chested character feels super out of place, but also like she has an extremely cutesy style. It's why she's one of my favorite artists, even before like she got super or big because of VTuber stuff. she has that very strong um she has a very strong balance of like ero and kawaii, just like sexy and cute, because of like okay, she draws that rounded super cutesy style, but then also big chest. Nin Izuna. I got like every Petra I saw too, like Sumi, I do love of her still. Well, like I said, I'm agnostic in terms of that the company. I just really like Petra. Another Shiroko. There was some really good Petra merch as well, so I was super happy to get that. What else do we got here? Oh god. Yeah, I saw this booth and I just absolutely had to get it. I think this is the booth. Yeah, I think this is the booth. Adona, the little screaming Yuka, Plana, another Petra. It's the panicking Petra, super cute. Fucking so, especially in this booth with all this, with these specific ones, he actually wasn't selling that many. He bought a bunch of Blue Archive stuff, but he wasn't selling well. Then my ass came around and it's like, let me get one of every Blue Archive thing you got. And he was like super happy. His eyes lit up. We started chatting as he was compiling my order, and it was like, it was super cool. It was super it was super exciting to be able to talk to another sensei. And I was telling the stories. It's like, oh yeah, one time at Anime Expo, I saw someone with like 30 different keychains, and I told them legitimately, I'm gonna buy one of each of them. And then the sellers took bets on whether I would actually come back. And it's like, oh, that's gonna take a while. Can you come back in like an hour? And it's like, sure. So I walked around the art hall to shop around, and then I came back to that booth to pick up that stuff, and apparently they were betting on whether I was actually gonna come back. So that wasn't Anime Expo, that wasn't here, but just like being able to see like all this cute Blue Archive stuff and talk to people about Blue Archive, because this conversation happened in other places. It's like, oh my god, with like these ones, these gorgeous ass as standees of Blue Archive, like it was super fun talking to other senseis that were there. So I info Niji stuff through Twitter. Yeah, there were a few booths that had a decent amount of Niji stuff too. Like I got there was one with an absolutely cursed Wilson thing. It was like a Wilson mouse pad, but like obviously when it's dude mouse pads, it's like they're like them with a fat ass or their bulge, and it's like, what the hell? Oh, this was an adorable one. Admittedly, I didn't want to bring it down because I'm kind of embarrassed by it, but I did. So obviously there's this cute Petra, and I got multiple of them just in case I lose them, because I would really want to actually use these as keychains. They had those curse stains, but they also had some really nice Scarlet mouse pads, and like they had a deal where it's like, okay, if you bought a Scarlet mouse pad, you got something else. Oh, this is gonna be a good story. I'll save that one for later. Yeah, so I ended up getting the Scarlet mouse pads in addition to all these Petras, and that was really fun. Let me get my ass out of the way, or let me move things over a bit. Okay, yeah. I'll probably just move myself out of the way if needed. Oh my god, this was so adorable. This is why I just this is how this adds up, because these are all like 20 each, but then they give you a deal of like 20, like buy 3 get 1 free or something like that. So it encourages you to buy in bulk, and that's how it adds up so fast. Look at this Azusa, so fucking cute. Look at this Hina. Scarlet, yeah, Scarlet. Yonaguni Scarlet. If you really, really want to see the mouse pad, just let me know and I'll go grab it. Dodo dodo. Dodo dodo. Dodo dodo. Dodo dodo one. Dodo dodo do. Yeah, so the same group that did these ones were the ones where I got that really nice kind of lewd red hood. They also said that they did a lot of stuff for Yabai market, but alas, I didn't need I didn't need anything from the Yabai market, so I couldn't actually see their booth. But I was very much curious about it. You've been itching for Dodo merch since forever? Yeah, I saw these Dodos and I definitely needed 2 of them. Because Dodo Dodo. Dodo Dodo. Oh, this is a cute Wakamo as well. It's a really nice Wakamo. Did any of you want to see the Scarlet mouse pads? I'm happy to oblige, but I'm also kind of shy about it. Oh, okay, yeah, okay. So a nice helm one too. I was super excited to get this one. This one came with the Dodos, so I really wanted to get a helm one. That's a nice charm. Dodo is genuinely one of my favorite creatures. Genuinely, I'm waiting for a fan-made Dodo plush to release, and I'm snagging one immediately. I'm pretty sure one's coming out soon. There's like a Dodo cohort that's likes putting out merch, so they're gonna put one out soon. I'm curious about what? Which one? Oh, the Scarlet? Yeah. If 2 of you want to see the Scarlet, I will bring them down. This Petra one is from Oyamo. It is my favorite keychain that I've ever gotten. And I still have my old one, but but the like hook broke off. The hook that like allows it to attach to your key. And so I can't bring it around anymore, and I was super sad about not being able to bring around my Petra anymore. So that's one why I bought so much more Petra stuff. But 2, like Oimo's Petra keychain is one of my favorites. Is one of my favorite Petra keychains. So I'm super glad to have gotten one of these again. I probably should have gotten a second one so I can like carry one around and then also have one for a collection. But I might, given how much keychains that I'm not using, I really need to start an Eat the Bag. And that's it for the second chain, but I did want to mention this one too. Oh, Chibity Scarlet was one of my favorite Niji girls. I don't know if I'd ever actually use keychains. I like using them, but I'm a little scared of using them because of the fact that like they will eventually break. The chains, not the keychain itself. The keychain itself is pretty sturdy, but like when the chain breaks, you might potentially lose your keychain. So I talked about her earlier, Yumie Tsuchinoko. I got this keychain when I talked to her, when I did the meet and greet with her. It's so awesome. Like it was just one more amazing thing about being able to talk to Yumie that day. Ah, so awesome. Sure. Since both you, T, and since both T and Chibody mentioned it, I will bring down the the Scarlet mouse pads. I'm patiently waiting for the next lore archive. Yeah, for sure. I haven't watched them simply because I'm behind on the story. But yeah, she does such good work on those things. Love lore archive. I'll be right back with the Scarlet mouse pads. But yeah, that is an insane number of keychains. Let me actually count it up. Well, so this one was free. So, a 3-set of Petra. Another Petra, some Blue Archive. So 3, 4, 5. Oh, I got 2 of this Petra. 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, this is a Petra standee, actually. Okay, that's different. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. More the rest of these standees. Seems so, yeah. Oh, here they are. Here they are. 16, 17. And so these are usually like buy 2 get 1 free, and they're like 15 each, I believe. So it's like, so 17. Sometimes they're not though, so it's like, what would it be like? So if every 3 is about 30, that's another like 150 plus a little more. And then we got all these standees. We got like, let's see. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And these can range up to like 25 to 40 each. So let's me in the middle around like 35 each for 11. So that's 70, 140, 210, 280, 350, like 385 here. It adds up so fast is the thing. Is because it's like, oh, you get all these deals like buy 2 get 1 free, buy 2 get 1 free, buy 3 get 1 free. And so it adds up so fucking fast. And then when I first, to fulfill my promise, I did get the Scarlet mouse pads. We got the one with their like nightgown. And then we got the one in her normal outfit. These, as I recall, were like 35 each, but then you got discount. But by the time I got into that booth, my card declined. I was like, okay, hold on. Let me fix this before I complete the transaction. And I look at my bank account, and I'd already spent over $2,000 over all sorts of stuff. And I don't think we've added up to 2,000 yet, but you'll see why in a second. I missed it. I was in the bathroom. Which one did you miss? Yeah, on day 1 alone, I had already spent like fucking $2,000, and that hasn't added up all the way. But it's because of the phase merch I also got. which is mostly just sleepy. Were you talking about the So both. What do you mean? The mouse? Yeah. She'd probably retweet it if you tag. Tell you what. Tell you what. Yeah, maybe after the stream, I'll take a picture of both of these mouse pads. And then show her. Didn't she do something recently? So she was like panicking on Twitter earlier today. She might have posted a silhouette of herself. Because she was making her she was making her actual dress, the one on her model, and wearing it, but it was but she accidentally posted it, and so like she was panicking over that. I thought it was over something earlier where she was like super down bad for a certain Final Fantasy character, and she straight up said something, "My pussy is wet," or something like that. Like something way out of pocket. Did you end up seeing both the mouse pads, T, or do you need me to pull it out one more time? I'm not sure how I'm going to be able to show this one. Not that there's anything too wrong with it. It is a little etchy, but it's this one shouldn't be too bad. But it's also because it's fucking massive. Once more, just to be sure. We got the original costume Scarlet. Okay, that's a better view of it. Yeah. And then we got the nightgown Scarlet. Very pretty. Very good. part of the transaction that got me the count. I'm probably gonna have to just show this in bits, maybe. So we got the race queen. Or, let me try moving this. She's so happy in the nightgown one. Well, she's more prepared for the situation in that case. Okay, so this mostly highlights Sleepy, which is fine by me. Look how gorgeous Sleepy looks. Sleepy in the race queen. Let's see if we can roll this over to Cleo in the race queen. Super nice design, super well done. And then Mari in the race queen design, which is really cool. This is like a full ass table mat. This is probably gonna be my new play mat for when I start playing Magic again. This is a super nice playmat. I think it would be really cool to pull this out at the card shop. And that kicks off the specifically face connect part of my collection here, which is going to be expensive. It might be the biggest part. Away the playmat real fast. Hopefully. It's a really thick playmat. It's hard to roll up, and it's even harder to put back in its container because the container doesn't feel like it's wide enough to actually contain the playmat. It's like very barely big enough. So not all of this is official Face Connect stuff, but it's mostly Face Connect characters. Oh wow, the first one that actually came up was ID. I did love the Race Queen ID. It's super nice looking. Like I mentioned, like I would have bid for the Race Queen ID if it didn't go up so high. Like the Race Queen ID looks really good. Good old EP herself, the original form, the base form. Nice standee. The promotional form, of EP. So model form and promotional form. Race Queen, yes. Just absolutely gorgeous. The Race Queen Sleepy. Super beautiful. Oh yeah, we got these. This is super cool. You got Polaroids of the characters. Apparently you can get individual Polaroids, but I'm not sure how you're supposed to do that. So I got the Polaroids for Quest, obviously, because it has Sleepy on it. And then I got the one with ID and the DA. ID is pretty much the only phase I've watched before Sleepy. So yeah, a lot of my... If I'm getting anything that's non-Sleepy, it's probably Irie. This one was a fan merch for sure, but it's a really cute Sleepy standee. This one was another fan one. I don't think... Was this Ayami? I can't remember if this is Ayami. I don't think it is, but this is a really nice Sleepy standee as well. I'm gonna be real with you. I don't know what this is, but I got it. So here's the thing. When I went to the Face Connect booth, I told, and I was ready to make my purchase. I just told them literally everything with Sleepy on it. Yeah, and this is another Face Connect one, the chibi version of Race Sleepy. Super cute. That's a lanyard? Okay. Oh, this is cool. I really wanted to do this. I think this is an artist you showed me, Chibity. You showed me this artist, didn't you? This is the Sleepy Coaster, and it, little bit sussy, but it's also really cool. And I swear to God, you showed me that artist. I swear to God. They drew all three of the quests. Oh, I know this one's from Ayami for sure. This is the official Ayami one. So Ayami, he made her whatchamacallit, a standee. Was this the official Ayami keychain? I don't remember. But we're getting to keychains now. This is a nice pin. It's a little bit... It's a little bit on the looter side, but it's a nice keychain there. Oh, yeah. Okay, hold on. I could have sworn I got more pins than this. So first of all, we got, yep, another keychain, super cute. The coaster was Yasai. He got into phase through Clara. You showed me Yasai, right? I'm pretty sure you showed me Yasai. I already talked about having to buffer Booba for merch again. I heard about that. Cleavage, yep. Yeah, ID talking about how like she needed to ask for it to get bigger. Another ID keychain here. So this one's fucking awesome. classic Sleepy. The one she was known for while she was in indie. It's really cool to see that people did their old design too. And then like a pin. I need to find the other pins. I might have dropped it on the way down or something. But yeah, I got to this pin, and so like I saw a one that did a bunch of the classic Sleepy, and because I got all the classic Sleepy and showed all that stuff, they gave me a nice like bead wristband, and with Sleepy's colors all over it, and then like ZZZ on it. Let's see if it's better here. Yeah, ZZZ on it. So that's really cool. I really love this thing. And obviously, it's pretty basic. Like the bead either wristbands are pretty easy to make, but it's still like really cool, really nice. Just the Sleepy colors and with the ZZZ on it, I really like that. Yeah, but this, I honestly couldn't even tell you how much all this costs. I remember this being around like probably like 20-25. These keychains, if they were like buy two get one free, they would be like another 30, so that's like 60 already. I believe these are 15 each, these Polaroids. So that's probably another 30 right there. So we're already up to 90. And all these standees, I think the official phase ones were like 40. Same with the Ayami ones. So like, I think the Ayami one was like 35. But we'll just round up to 40. Like, yeah, 40, 60, 120, 160, 200, 240, 280, and then however much this costs. So much went down the drain. So we had like 300 for the plushies, like however many hundreds were spent on so many fucking keychains. Like however many more hundreds were spent. And it feels like it shouldn't add up to 2,000, but it did. And it's crazy that I ended up doing all that. Let alone, so yeah, I do all that. I spend like 2,000 on day one. I tried to hold back on day two, still end up getting like a little more Blue Archive merch, because this was my entire haul. Minus some stuff, which I must have left upstairs somewhere. I need to look around. And then, yeah, so like over 2,000 a little under 2,000 day one, a few hundred the next day, and then on day three I bought the standees for like 650, 700, and then so that's close to like $3,000 I spent at Offkai. It literally was just straight up like, oh, I see something I want, I'm buying it. Just to like, oh, that looks nice. And not even, I haven't even shown you like the prints either too. Mostly because I think I only bought prints from Captivate. So I went to Captivate's booth because I knew he was there, and that was exciting to see. Chatted with him a little bit, joked about how like, oh man, I always want to watch you, but you're like, it's really hard for me to watch you at work because you draw such sussy stuff. And we were just joking around about that, laughing, and I didn't even get any like VTuber or Nikkei stuff from him. I got his Nekopada stuff because I really wanted his Nekopada, the one with chocolate and vanilla. And so he had two Nekopada prints for chocolate. There's one where it was both chocolate and vanilla in like a cute, kind of revealing maid outfit. And then there was one of chocolate in a bikini. So those were the two I really wanted. And then I looked through his catalog and I decided to get his OC, Itsumi, the blue-haired cat girl. and his yeah, that one was really good too. It was the one in the Kalkini. And then so I got all of that from Captivate as well. And then just like whatever food I had to get, like I had to spend like $20 on a burger, I had to spend $20 on a burrito later on that day, like it's on a different day. So yeah, I just got bled dry by this whole convention. I probably need to, obviously I need to be smarter next time, but it's also like it felt very worth it to be able to get all this cool stuff, because I didn't really get the opportunity to before. And so I just really wanted to go all out, gain all this cool stuff, especially to help support, or to I'm confident in saying this, my Oshi. I didn't appreciate her enough while she was indie, but now that she's gotten into phase and being able to do all sorts of stuff with a much bigger audience, I'd want to. It was something I sort of realized, because it was sort of a weird feeling of. It felt hard to like really keep, because Oshi means to push, right? To like really want to help push your favorite idol or whoever, or to be the best they can. And like it was kind of hard for me to really be able to feel that push with Mint Fantome anymore, because of the fact that she was so popular. She was getting so big before, and it was like it was hard for me to figure out how to actually have that feeling of wanting to keep pushing them when they're already at the top. But then I realized with the kind of just my sleepy obsession with all the sleepy merch that I got, that I understand, because she's pretty damn popular right now. She averages like 2,000 viewers per stream on YouTube at least, and she's picking it up. I kind of understand it now, what it's like to want to Oshi someone who's already very popular. It's because I want to remind people that she's not just very popular. She's not just as one of the best. I want everyone to know that she is the best, like unequivocally, that she is the best. And so that's why it means to push a Oshi who is relatively popular. I'm not satisfied with her being in one of the best VTubers. I want to push her all the way to the top. And so that's why I ended up getting all this stuff, just because it's like, man, it's cool being able to really be able to dedicate myself to a VTuber again. What's up, Hacker Troller? Regarding the question, I don't know. I've never been to a convention. You should try it at some point. I promise you, it'll be really good. Did you see the 20-foot mint standee? I didn't get there in time. So I saw it and I was like, okay, I'll check back later. But then like I got caught up in talking to someone, which is fine. Like it's worth it if it meant to being able to chat with someone and have a connection, etc. But like I didn't get to see it, because by the time I saw the tweet and it was like, oh, that's cool, I need to check that out. So I was planning to go over or finish up my shopping trip, and then I go over to, and then while I'm going over, I end up chatting with someone for a while. And then because I was busy doing that, like that meetup ended and they took down the 20-foot mint, and it was like, oh damn it, I missed out. When's my own stand? Hopefully soon. Or maybe this is the year I blow up. Maybe this is the year. Maybe next year at Offkai I'll be one of the bigger guests. Who knows? or maybe eventually at Offkai I'll be one of the bigger guests. But that might be a lofty goal, but I want to try. Probably gonna start getting going because it's getting really late. No problem, T. I'm so glad you can make it and share in my con experience with me. Hopefully you get to join up too one day. So that is how I spent $3,000 at a VTuber convention. Ask me anything. We didn't end up drinking much other than the 3 beers, which you didn't even really get to see because I was whatchamacallit, because I was more talking about my timeline than I was showing the screen here. But then, yeah, it was still worth it because we got to talk about some stuff. Have a good rest of your night. Cry bye. Got a bank warning about suspicious activities once. So after passing the 2,000 mark, I think that's what it was like my big noise. I had spent 2,000 in rapid succession. It's like, yo, what's going on? Yeah, I did get 1. Somehow I didn't get more than that. I only got the 1. I was half expecting it to happen with the standees, but that didn't happen either. Ah, man, what a good time. What a good time. Like, whatchamacallit, where was I? What am I trying to say here? Oh yeah, so Tomoya, former Soon Dream talent, back when Soon Dream was a thing, you know, he talked about how he talked about just being glad to have a vacation, that he didn't have to worry about work for a while. And then I replied to him. I replied to him being like yeah, Offkai's gonna be a blast, but I'm more excited about the fact that I get a vacation at all. I've been really stressed at work. It was kind of rough, but it was so, just the fact that I still don't have to work for another few days. Like I'm coming back Saturday, but it's the fact that I just don't have to work for almost 2 weeks is a really comforting experience. It's just based on that, and despite the difficulties, the physical difficulties of like needing to flip over my schedule to be day shift so I can actually participate in the con, to walking around with so much merch that was super heavy, just walking around in general so much because as I want to explore the con, I want to explore various places, staying up so late and getting drunk with people, staying up and just like talking to people, like draining my social battery, which usually is very difficult to recharge, but I was so eager to talk to everyone at the con. Just being able to be surrounded by VTuber fans and their conversations, being able to be surrounded by people like that. Like, I had such terrible aches, physical aches. My legs just would barely function. My legs were barely able to function. My arms were tired. Like, I had big headaches. I was kind of like so tired and sleepy that I kept wanting to pass out during the con. And it was rough, honestly. It was really rough physically for me, but like it was so emotionally gratifying. It was so emotionally healing, being around so many VTuber fans, being around so many just like-minded people being in such a positive and awesome environment. Like reading the tweets in between days and after or Offkai is so cool. It's like, oh my god, like there's a smaller VTuber. It's like, oh my god, some people recognize me. Oh my god, like a bunch of people showed up to my meet and greet. I can't believe it. I thought I was unknown. There was a story about a certain VTuber who was too sick to go to the convention. So someone literally, you know how Face Connect had all those like trolleys going around where you can ride around with just in that little like scooter thing to greet people as their VTuber avatar was rolling around. Someone made one of those for their own VTuber. Their own VTuber friend because of the fact that she couldn't go physically, so they bought her regularly, and it's super cool, and that's super wholesome. Or like the concert that was held past midnight after day 3, where like the VTuber herself wasn't really sure many people would come, only to see that dozens of people have come, and like the laptop fell over, and so she got disconnected and she really couldn't tell what possibly could have happened, and she's kind of singing to herself in a lonely way, aware of everything that's going on, but then it reconnected and everyone's like cheering that they can see her again and are super happy about being able to see her. And it's just, there's so many great stories. There's so many great stories up and down on the list about just like these smaller VTubers getting to meet their fans, about these fans getting to meet their favorite VTuber, whether they're small or large, or people making stuff for their VTuber, people buying stuff for their VTuber and wanting to represent. It's just incredible. It really is just incredible. So it's why I love Offkai so much. It's why I found it so emotionally healing, despite the fact that it was also painful from a physical standpoint. It's super worth it. 3,000 is almost 60k in pesos. You can buy a car with that. Oh, I'm aware. I'm aware of how stupid my finances were with this. Was all this Sleepy merch available? Some face stuff got hijacked. I did hear about that. I managed to get all the Sleepy merch that was allegedly on sale, so I think that's fine. By the way, I wanted to ask you about your setup for cocktails. Recently, I acquired a Table Destiny. So I placed my bottles there, but I wanted to get your feedback because I already have a nice setup. I can probably take a picture of it, but really, it's just honestly, I mean, it really is just a table. Like, oh shit. It really is just a table, and this is the right side of my table, and I just put it's my most used bottles over here. I have like a laptop in this area, and then just like a camera and a camera over the top, which is held up by a boom arm and a shitty like $30 camera. So it's not the most. I actually want to change up this setup at some points, but I'm not 100% sure how I want to accomplish that. But I do want to change this up because I don't think this is the most efficient. I don't think this is the best way to stream. It's a pretty fun way to stream, but it's not the best way, and so I want to improve it. Uma Musume is out, checking Steam and stuff. Oh yeah, I remember a lot of people were getting hyped up for Uma Musume. I personally wasn't, but I can get the hype. It looks like a really fun game. I'm not like super attached to any of the characters myself. Right. Yeah. I don't think there's really much else to say. I wanted to talk about Offkai. I wanted to show off some of my merch, and I've done so. So, hope I can talk to you guys next week. By next week, I'm just going to be irregular old Nonatsu again. I'm going to have been... I will have been back to work for a couple days and then fully back to the grind after that. So it's been a relaxing week. I have another like half a week to one, recover, two, just as to enjoy myself. But then after that, it's back to the old grind of working. And I already miss Offkai so much. I miss being able to have a vacation like this. I miss being able to relax already. But I have a few more days to enjoy that. And the time I've already spent has already been breathtakingly good. So I'm glad I got to tell the story to you guys. Was 3,000 only spent on the convention, or are you counting travel expenses and others? There was no travel expenses because I'm local. I guess if you want to count an extra $100 for the parking fees, well, no, it wouldn't even be that. It would be $45 for parking fees, just simply because as I. Whatchamacallit? Am I back? You said stream stopped. Am I back? I did notice my model lag for a second. It's a good angle to stream being a VTuber and making the drinks at the same time. Yeah, but like, so the overhead camera is awkward. Is a little awkward, and the vertical camera is very limited in scope. So I wanted to try something like Miori does, where she does kind of an angled overhead on her desk. And I kind of want to try something like that. So I want to switch it up. I do kind of just want to switch it up in general, just to see. And because I do think whatever I'm doing now could use improvement. I also need to find like another lamp to do my lighting, because frankly, the light I'm using in this room is pretty bad. Ooh. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've dropped something, because I'm pretty sure I have 3 pins. So like, these aren't this wasn't a true keychain. It was a pin, and so I needed to do. I know I have 3 of these, but I can't remember where they are, and I know the other 2 are of Classic Sleepy as well. So it's really cool. So I'm gonna have to make sure I find those, because I did spend good money on it. But it's been fun. It's really been fun. So I don't think there's much else for me to say other than thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. We will go back to doing normal bar content again real soon. I think I want to try making some of the cocktails I had over at Offkai. So look forward to that. See you then.